Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the VIS League. Here, bringing you guys the Challenger Series for Vainglory. I'm your host, Dragonborn, and I'm joined today by Denominate and Tasty Bacon. And we're really excited because we're going to be kicking off split number 2 right here in the summer season. Of course, thanks again, guys, for joining me. This is definitely going to be an exciting split.
Sure ought to be, and thank you for having us back, Dragon. As always, it's a pleasure.
Of course, after the long, awkward silence. Hey, so this is actually a pretty big deal. We want to get into this before we get into the games. The games are just about ready to start. And for everybody tuning in, you guys probably just saw an amazing split number 1, filled with action, absolutely wild and crazy, with an awesome challenger battle to finish it all off. But this split number 2, is going to be a little different. And Tasty, maybe you could talk to us a little bit about this, because we are no longer going to have challenge battles. What exactly is going to be the build-up for this split?
Well, it's actually going to be really exciting. Well, unfortunately, none of these challenger teams will have the opportunity to make it into the Vainglory 8 at the end of the season. What will happen is the top team from challengers, not just the top 3. You have to be number 1, but the number 1 team will receive an invite to the Unified Live Championship to go head-to-head with the top challenger team from Europe, and that will be a grudge match. Another North American versus European grudge match that takes place after the second semifinal game at the Unified Championship. So you get not only that trip to LA, but you get to represent your region in that NA versus EU battle that is always raging.
And this is, it's a really crazy plot twist, because with only 1 challenge battles to try to help build some stability in the competitive league for Vainglory 8, this idea came up for this unified regional challenge battle championship. And this is really crazy. So what this means is that, the top challenger teams will compete head-to-head live. And this is something we've never seen. There's always been talk about, EU versus NA. But, when you get to the lower teams, the teams that aren't quite in the Vainglory 8, there's really an uncertainty about who is better. Like, we really don't know. Right now, we do know, obviously, Team Solomid, Cloud9, those guys are better and stronger than the Europe counterparts. But when we get to the challengers, it could be a completely different story.
Yeah, it absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it indeed could. And, of course, over here in North America, we do have some pretty strong teams that just dropped down into the Challenger Series with NRG and Echo Fox, who will very likely be looking for that number 1 spot, as well as Tribe and Misfits are over here. So definitely something exciting to look forward for.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about our bracket here for today. We are in Group A. This is a double elimination, best of 3 tournament all the way across. And, of course, starting in the first group play, it is going to be single band draft. So a little bit different than the playoff play that we came to know and love. But, there are a lot of exciting teams in this bracket. Just looking at the bracket right here, you guys mentioned it, Echo Fox and Misfits. They're actually in the same bracket. So they're on opposite sides, though, so they won't necessarily go head-to-head quite just yet. But, we've got a lot of other exciting teams as well. Some ones that kind of stand out for me, specifically Intensity VG. This is a team that's had some pretty decent success, as well as Infinity Rebirth last season. Some surprising games there. We've got a lot of exciting matchups. And, of course, Group B is going to be starting tomorrow with an additional set of exciting teams. Let's get into, actually, though, our matchup for today, guys. This is one that is going to be pretty interesting. Granted, now we only have the top 32 teams that qualified for this tournament. So the skill gap has really, really shrunk and been condensed down. So a lot of these teams, even though we are looking at a 4 seed versus a 29 seed, we are talking about a much closer field of teams going into day number 1. But Misfits versus Shank and Suppress. Tasty, this is likely to be a team, Shake and Suppress, that is, a team that's going to have a big uphill battle going into Misfits. Misfits, definitely that team that's a little upset about their loss in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. They were really looking to be one of the teams that made it into the challenge battles and unfortunately fell just a little bit short. So now they're going to be playing with an even larger chip on their shoulder, very likely.
Yeah, absolutely. Misfits, they're the team coming in hungry. What are some key takeaways from this team that we should just watch today and actually really watch throughout the entire Challengers?
Well, I mean, there's going to be quite a few to keep our eyes on. It's definitely going to be difficult to choose, but, it's for this particular game, I think we're going to definitely have to keep our eyes on Demon. More specifically for this team, he's one of the ones that really needs to step up again and be a hard carry for the team that he has been in the past.
Right, and he was last season, last split. He was fantastic. Definitely putting on a performance that was much improved from previous splits. So I'm really excited to see him play as well. I think we're about ready to get into this matchup here in just a few moments. So once we do, definitely going to be. It's going to be a pretty exciting game, but I think really holistically looking at this entire challengers, this is going to be definitely one of those challengers where we're going to see how the pieces have fallen, especially these teams that have gotten knocked down. Like you said, really strong teams. Echo Fox and NRG, there was actually a point where most people had thought NRG was not going to get knocked down. They were actually the favorite Vainglory A team going into last weekend's challenge battles.
Yes, unfortunately, they weren't able to bring a strong enough performance to the challenger teams that we had coming up. Obviously, we had some pretty big names themselves. Again, at least for the North American side, and for the EU side now, it's really grown much wider in skill. We've always had those top 8 teams that were really uncontested, and just in the last couple seasons, we've really had a lot of challenger teams step up. So really going into the challenge battles was anybody's game. Immortals, Rogue, Tribe, Hammers, Energy, all fantastic teams. Echo Fox, great team that have obviously proven themselves to be VG8 material, and they're constantly fighting for spots.
Now, guys, I don't know if you've seen. Do you see the draft starting? Because it's a black screen on my end.
I got black screen too.
On my end.
Yeah, so I'd love to take you guys into the draft, but I don't see it. So we'll have to check real quickly here with our moderator, see if maybe there's something else going on.
There we go. It's all of a sudden going on for me.
Going on for you?
Yeah, we have a Grace ban for the side of Misfits and a Baron ban on the B side, and I'm going to have to remember which team this is. My bad.
If you close out of the client and open it up again, it should work.
All right, let me try that. Worry them something's going to go wrong for me. There we go. Yep, it works. Thank you guys so much. All right, guys. Well, we are going to kick into it then. And let's kick right into the draft. Tasty Bacon Denomine. Take it away.
All right. We're about halfway through now. So already we're going to be seeing these teams. You got the Lyra and Vox as the first picks. Baron and Grace banned away. Not really much of a surprise there. Grumpjaw, Idris, both still being available. And it looks like on the side of, I believe that is Misfits. Yeah, it is Misfits. I have to look a bit closer to actually read the names. But Misfits going to be thinking about this Idris perhaps, but with the Lance coming through, they actually don't want to go for the Idris. Instead, they're going to take Kestrel and Samuel.
Yeah, and this is definitely a strong composition. This is something that EA runs a lot, and that actually a couple of the North American teams have really been starting to migrate into. And paired up with the Lyra, it's definitely going to be a devastating combination, because typically to kill the Samuel or the Kestrel, you really have to be able to dive, and the Lyra is going to be able to prevent this Black Feather that just got locked in from safely making it to the back line. They're going to have the interruption of his movement abilities with the Bright Bulwark, as well as the healing with the Burst of the Sigil will help the Kestrel or Samuel reposition, whatever they may need be. So I definitely want to give the edge over to Misfits, but we all know what a incredible late game force Vox can be. So I don't think we can really count out Shank and Suppress yet.
Yeah, definitely a strong draft from both sides, but I have to agree with you. I feel like there is just a little bit of an edge in favor of Misfits in the draft. And of course, you look at the seeding numbers, there's a big advantage for Misfits there, but those seeding numbers are starting to mean less and less every single split as the depth of the talent in Vainglory continues to increase. So eventually it's just going to be everyone in Challengers can beat anyone on any given day. and it just all comes down to execution. But for now, we still have to give an edge to Misfits as we load onto the Halcyon Fold. We're going to get to see how these teams are going to start it off. Looks like both captains going to play a little bit forward while their junglers just clear out the jungle on their own side of things.
Indeed they are, and realistically the win condition here for the side of Shank and Suppress is if Manny on this Lance can lock somebody down and the Blackfeather and Vox can go in and blow them up, then that's really what's gotta happen, because again, this composition that Misfits has put together is just so strong. It offers both a lot of poke and also a lot of defensive capabilities, a lot of ability to kite backwards.
And so for now, to start things off, looks like we might get a small skirmish for this Ancient Tramp, but no, it looks like Shank and Suppress aren't terribly interested in it, but now Misfits, they're a bit interested in Next Gen and Manny, forcing them away for now. Wanting to go in for maybe a little bit of aggression, but instead choosing to back off and just focus on taking this Ancient Tramp. However, Manny is taking the opportunity to put some pressure on the Demon. He's very low on energy. Is still going to be going ahead and clearing out this next wave of minions. Sticking around for now will be fine as far as the health is concerned, but that energy is starting to get pretty low, so isn't really going to be able to answer in the trades as effectively as they would like, so needs to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, definitely being low on energy is a scary thing for Kestrel, even when you do have the 5 stacks. It is a very energy heavy ability to use the active camo, which is her escape from this Blackfeather and Lance when they dive in. So being low, she's definitely got to be a little bit worried about the gank here, and here it comes.
Absolutely, they're going in deep. That's a nice Githian wall, and it will allow Next Gen to just pick up the first blood on this Blackfeather. With it being a CP Blackfeather, a lot of times the ganks aren't really that aggressive unless they are confident that they can find a kill, until you get up to that level 8 mark where the on points start to really do a lot of damage. But for now, just going to find that first blood, a little bit of extra gold onto Next Gen. Never hurts to let your CP Blackfeather get that advantage.
Definitely not, and not only does the damage really ramp up at level 8 for this Blackfeather, the range and utility that the actual on-point gains is absolutely massive and needed for the kit. If you have that short range all game long, the Crystal Blackfeather wouldn't really be something that could deal with a ranged composition like this. So getting to level 8 is really what we're looking for on Next Gen here.
Meanwhile, up in the lane, Misfits, all 3 of them have gathered up here for an opportunity to go in. Manny's going to find a nice double impale. Going to get a fair bit of damage down. The on points, they will hurt. It's just a much shorter range for now. So that's going to force Misfits back away from this lane. Once again, Eco throw down a Sigil to heal himself, and that's going to allow Demon to be targeted. And he falls low, but will get out of there. That's a nice Malice and Verdicts with the Drifting Dark from Zax in order to push everyone away of this. So again, just posturing up. Looks like they want to still try and go in a bit. That's going to be a Next Gen falling down to the Demon. Nice bright bulwark kept him in place. That slow is a very powerful slow.
It is indeed, and if I remember correctly, it does scale based on the amount of Heartthrob stacks you have. So the more damage you put down before you apply a on point, it definitely has a much better effect. What I've really been impressed so far is Manny's Githian walls and his impales. However, they will become more difficult to land as the game moves on later and later. As once people start upgrading their boots, they have a higher base movement speed. The boots proc is available more frequently. So definitely something that we'll have to watch as this game goes on. Lance has really fallen off as a meta hero, I would say. For a long time, he was incredibly strong and still is really good into some heroes that have limited mobility. We just haven't seen as much of it.
I think Lance, it depends on the composition around it. These burst-focused builds, I think, are extremely strong. There's one team in Europe that they run very frequently a CP Idris with a Lance and a Catherine, a jungle Lance. And oh, Manny, speaking of Lance, he's going to be going down. That is just Misfits taking advantage of an aggressive positioning and a missed impale to find themselves a second kill. And now they're the ones with the pressure. Oblivion's going to go out. That just forces Ebok away from the turret. This turret's starting to take a lot of punishment. Eco goes down low, but not low enough for Next Gen or Ebok to find a kill. Turret going down very, very heavily. Misfits finding pressure early in this game.
They are indeed. Just there again comes another good impale from Mini. Not really enough to follow up, but I mean, even taking any health off of somebody at this point is obviously great. Misfits so far looking really good, and they do manage to secure that treant, so it's going to be a little more gold in their pocket. Not really a huge bleed coming up on 1,000 though, so they definitely are moving in the right direction. Both teams do now have Fountain, and Ebok has his Poison Shiv complete, so that's going to be the first real spike that we have for Vox. It's a great utility item for him as far as the attack speed, as well as, again, it's utility based. It has the mortal wound to it. It allows him to reduce the healing that Lyra is able to put out to the team.
And that's going to be very important to minimize that healing as we get later into this game. So the amount of sustain available to Misfits between Eco with the sigils and Zax having the built-in lifesteal for the Samuel, it's tough to take them out if you don't have a way to apply those mortal wounds. So it's very important to get that Poison Shiv first. Just very helpful for I Am Ebok that it also happens to be the go-to first item for Vox regardless of what you're up against. Tension Bow is going to come out for both of these carries, and so their item strengths will stay even. It's the flat damage is a little bit higher for Demon, but there's a little bit more utility for I Am Ebok. So in a straight up fight, you gotta still give the advantage over to Demon if things do come to that. But right now, Next Gen having to rotate around is almost level 8, almost has that increased range on the points, but they're going in. Oblivion's gonna come out, that forces Shank Express back. And now here comes those empowered Malice and Verdicts, doing lots of damage. This turret, it should fall. One more Glimmer Shot will take it down. And so first objective secured for Misfits.
Yep, and that's going to really start to change where the gold bleed's at. We're now sitting up about 2,000 for Misfits. Obviously, the 900 coming through was absolutely huge for them, as well as the positional advantage of that turret being down. But Ebok taking the chance to at least push up the lane here and try to make Demon miss out on some farm. Only one is going to drop, though, as the active camo speed does allow him to get up to lane a little bit quicker. Shank and Suppress grouping up down here towards the shop for a second, and Vox is going to be working into a breaking point next.
Breaking point is pretty much the typical third item for a Vox. A lot of times Voxes will only use those 3 offensive items. It's a very cheap build, which is really, really helpful. Allows Vox to get online a little bit earlier. However, Next Gen going way too far forward, just going to get dropped. I Am Ebok looks to be disconnected. Misfits recognizing that, not going to take the easy kill, and showing some good sportsmanship there. A very unfortunate situation for Shank and Suppress as we get the pause coming out.
Yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate. Unfortunately, players are responsible for their own connection, but we do have the ability to pause when we have a obvious issue. And like you said, very good sportsmanship out of Misfits, not taking the kill. You know, they understand. Sometimes things just happen. You know, we'll be back in the game here shortly.
And I'll try and get in contact with the team, see if we can figure out the issue and have a heads up of when it is resolved. And as soon as it is, then we will get the unpause coming out and we'll get the action back underway. But until then, I mean, right now, Misfits starting to really find some good pressure in the lane, able to use these Malice and Verdicts to sort of apply a lot of damage to Shank and Suppress, using the Oblivion to zone them into specific areas so that they can find more damage. And now that Blackfeather is going to be hitting that level 8 mark, it's going to be able to stay a little bit further away, which is really good. The couple of kills that have come out recently have been due to Next Gen just having to get a little bit too close for comfort. And Ebok is moving around as we get the unpause, so everything is back underway once again.
It is indeed, and man, Next Gen exploded from those glimmer shots, walking in a little bit too early. Definitely got to be careful as this Black Feather, though. You do become a little bit tanky as your on point does provide you a pretty sizable barrier. But when you go in first and you have such a heavy poke composition, such as this weapon, Kestrel, you're still an assassin. Your health pool is incredibly low naturally, so you definitely have to get out some poke before you engage that heavily, as well as having the Vox disconnected definitely could have had something to do with that fight.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure if it really would have made much of an impact. Next Gen was very far forward, just kind of got blown up in an instant, but either way, Misfits working on this gold miner. They have vision to know if anyone comes to try and contest. They see Manny right around the corner, but they're going to try and take it out anyway. They get the gold mine, and now they've got Manny right where they want him. They find another kill. Oblivion will just narrowly avoid putting Next Gen to sleep. He's still going to be in trouble even with getting out of that Oblivion. Has to use the Rose offensive to get himself back underneath these turrets. We'll get out to safety for now, but this gold lead continues to grow.
It does indeed, and we're sitting about 4,000 now. And, again, we talked about at the beginning that the seeding doesn't matter as much, but this is still Misfits, and these guys have been in the community and in the competitive side of the community for so long and always been right up there, at the top and near the top. Definitely a team that you have to watch out for regardless of the circumstance.
Crystal Sentry going to get cleared out here by Misfits. That's the first life taken. And so as they continue to work on that, this is something that we really like to see. And it's one of the things that can separate a top team from a lower tier team is when they start to build up a lead, going into the jungle and taking away as much as possible. Even if you don't take backs, if you clear out that sentry early, it just makes it that much easier for you to continue to be aggressive. You keep pressure on your opponents at all times. You don't allow them to get complacent and have the ability to farm up without being punished for moving too far forward.
Indeed, and again, this Kestrel, who is going a very similar build to a Baron. This will either go into another Monocle, if not into a Tornado Trigger. And this crit burst build with the Tension Bow is absolutely massive. And it looks like we might actually have a disconnect from Manny here. As Misfits clean up this fight, they'll very likely let him live. They're nice people.
If they even know where he is, it can be difficult to find an opponent up in that corner, but he's going to be back and walking through now, tries to use the Githing Wall to keep him away from the turret, but they have no reason to even focus him down. It's just going to draw the turret aggro. The Demon does so anyway, but the turret still falls. That is going to be the choke point turret down. That's not very good news for the side of Shank and Suppress, as that turret is such an important one to defend and try and keep your base safe. 12.5 minutes in, Misfits are starting to run away with this.
They are indeed, and again, this composition that they have put together is a very EA meta that is now shifting over into North America. It's despite Samuel being more of a late game hero, because of the pairing with Lyra and Kestrel, there's a lot of potential to sustain in the lane and a lot of damage to be able to push early. And as we've seen Misfits do, there's a lot of early infusions that come out that really allow the damage to ramp up early.
And obviously you already have that level 10 infusion ticking on both junglers at the moment. Demon, as his third offensive item, is building towards a fourth, going to get a little bit more crit under his belt. I mean, Manny trying to impale forward again, doesn't connect. It is just going to be that little bit of damage that was done healed up. As Misfits continue to push forward down this lane, I am Ebok eating a lot of damage. Fountain will come out. That's going to be Oblivion blocked, but Ebok still falls as these Malice and Verdicts do too much work. Manny goes forward, but is just going to pay for it as he very nearly falls. Does get back to the platform to heal up. However, Misfits, they are on the verge of trying to push these turrets. The minions don't quite get far enough down for what they were looking for. They wanted to take that lower turret, but they were not able to do so without the barrier getting stripped off. So instead, they just back out look to go ahead and clean up the jungle, take the sentry down once again. Over here comes Shank and Suppress. It doesn't look like they're going to be looking to actually try and defend this stuff.
Again, the way the fights have been going, it's super risky to try to defend it. Sometimes you do just have to give up the farm and try to pick a better fight. You know, it would have only been a matter of time. If they would have came in, tried to get the farm there, someone died, it would have been Misfits pushing right into the 2 turrets that they have left. And, you know, it's definitely a better choice sometimes to either just give up the farm, or, you know, if you're running away from a fight, you know, your whole team doesn't need to turn back and commit. You know, it's definitely a smart decision to just get out when you need to.
So, well, Misfits, speaking of getting out, they don't want to give Shank and Suppress a chance to get out this time. They find the first kill. Oblivion is going to get blocked by a nice Rose offensive. Manny will get chased down by Demon. Meanwhile, Zax finishes off Next Gen with a Malice Verdict, and this should be Misfits able to close this game out 15 minutes in. No Kraken necessary as the Ace Buff minions make their way in. First turret's already down. Second one going to get focused, and Misfits very decisively will be taking game number 1.
Indeed, they will. A nice 10-1 victory, 11,000 gold up. That is going to be game number 1. So again, this is Misfits. This is a strong team, and you know, I think this really doesn't come as a surprise to anybody. This is a team that we'll very likely see go all the way to the end, and you know, be a contestant for that Challenger Series or Challenger Battle spot, or the modified version that we have going into the Unified Finals.
I'm not actually sure what the name of the Challenger Showdown is called. I think Challenger Showdown is a pretty good name for it. But
Showdown.
I'll have to get word from SCMC on what the actual name of that event or that matchup will be. But for now, Misfits looking strong in their first game of the Challengers.
Absolutely, guys. That was a pretty awesome game to watch. I mean, Misfits, they dominated, and we didn't really expect anything different. This is the same roster, but it does say a lot about these guys. They've stuck together, and they've played better and better each season that we've watched them. And I'd actually love to see, this would be awesome to see this roster maybe make a run for first place. Now being first place really does matter. And for everyone watching, I think I saw a few people in the chat ask, well, what's the purpose of the split? There's no challenge battles. It is to qualify for the very first Challengers Regional Cup, which I think is the official name, is the Challenger Regional Cup that I've been told at least. So wherever the live championship will be, you also will be able to qualify your Challenger team, one of these teams here that are playing this season, to be able to go to that cup. It's really exciting, guys. It's never happened before. A top Challenger team has never played from NA and EU together in one live event. So this is going to be definitely something you guys are not going to want to miss as these teams make it onto that pretty exciting event. All right, guys. Let's see. We're about ready to get ready for the second game. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a re-invite just because I had to do a restart earlier.
Yep, for the drafting issue.
Exactly. But, you know, we saw that game. Clearly, Demon definitely performing very well. A little bit of different composition than what we saw last split. Now, this is the same update. This is 2.6. But we have seen, even going into challenge battles, guys, the composition, the team, the meta comps have started to transition, change a little bit. Kestrel really becoming that dominant hero in the lane now. Like, we're starting to see a lot more Kestrel picks than we have probably in some time.
Yeah, a lot of that's to attribute to Kestrel's recent update. Her stacks for her heroic perk actually last longer, which allows her to sustain much easier. Those adrenaline stacks,
right?
And that was really weapon Kestrel's biggest downfall all the time, is whether you put her in the lane, she ran out of energy really quickly, and then going into the fight, she didn't have energy. She wasn't able to sustain through the fights. We didn't see it so much on Crystal Kestrel because obviously that's a typical jungle pick. So you do have the Treants, which restore some energy, as well as obviously you're going the Crystal Path. The Clockwork was a very popular item for Kestrel at the time. So this has really brought her to be that strong flex pick, especially on the B side. So if you are on red side, that's really how you win draft right now is, Glaive is one of the strong flex picks. Idris is one of the strong flex picks. And then also the Kestrel is a strong flex pick. And that really makes the enemy commit to, okay, do we want to counter this Kestrel in the jungle or do we want to counter this Kestrel in the lane? And then, there comes the last pick. You can flip it around if you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. And a lot of this does come around flex picks, right? Like we see some of these compositions rise in popularity because, the smart teams know how to adjust it. Now, of course, we then see it spammed a lot, in rank queue, but what it does mean, though, is that there is over the course of an update, constant change, which is pretty indicative. Guys, we do need to take a quick break here. It looks like we're waiting just a tad longer. So what we'll do is take a short pause. When we come back, we'll be ready to get into game number 2 between Misfits and Shank and Suppress.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Welcome back, everybody. As we look to get ready into game number 2 of this matchup, we are in the middle of a best-of-3 series between Misfits and Shank and Suppress. Of course, Misfits handling that in decisive fashion, taking that. It was a solid 15-minute game. I mean, didn't need Kraken at all, as they're able to close it right as Kraken was spawning. It looks like we're just about ready to get into this match and get the draft started. So, typically these early rounds, they can be a little bit of a hit or miss. We're not really sure, definitely the skill tier gap has decreased a lot over the course of a few seasons. And we've actually seen there's the possibility for upsets, even in day number 1. But I got to be honest, guys, just the way Misfits played last split, I think this is going to be another quick and easy game.
It very well likely will be. Again, this is Misfits. This is a team that was in the Vainglory 8, and literally every Challenger season they've made it almost all the way to the end. With specifically this season being one of the most difficult. I mean, we had some incredibly strong teams going through the Challenger first split, but they did put up a good fight all the way to the end. Unfortunately, they didn't quite make it into that top 3. But, again, this is a team that's consistently at the top of the Challenger Series. This isn't a team that, I would expect to see drop out this early.
Well, we're heading into the draft, and I agree. This is the team that, I think definitely make it to the playoffs, but we're already into it. And, of course, the surprise Vox Band. We don't see Vox Band all too often.
Yeah, especially not in the single band format. Just because you typically want to take Baron and Grace off the board, but Idris getting banned is even more surprising to me by Misfits, because now the Baron comes through, and Idris is one of the strongest counters to a Baron, and they've taken that off the board. They're going to go ahead and grab themselves Blackfeather, who they feel like will be their answer to the Baron. Grace also going to come through. Grace can do really well into a Baron as well with the Holy Shields being able to reduce damage so heavily.
Yeah, they definitely can, and definitely taking the Idris off the table, leaving that first pick Baron is definitely interesting to me. However, Grace is very good into Baron as well. If you're able to limit the amount of burst damage that Baron has applied with his jump jets, then you can really provide a strong engage. Now, this Lyra will be able to keep him a little bit safe and sustained, but man, a Crystal Kestrel coming through too. The real thing we're going to have to look from Shank and Suppress here is land a couple of Glimmer shots, jump in with the jump jets, get the kill, and just take somebody off the map. And a Sky is actually locked in for the side of Misfits, and it looks like Zax is actually going to be picking up the Sky. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is something that Misfits does, is put Zax down here in the jungle, or if this could potentially be a lane weapon Sky with a Crystal Blackfeather in the jungle.
Very likely to be the case. We'll have to see how exactly they will play it out, but most likely we're going to get to see the Crystal Sky, which is definitely the best way to run Sky at the moment. While you can do a weapon Sky, it's certainly not optimal. And Demon going to be taking the Blackfeather into the lane. So that's our matchups. Blackfeather and Baron going to be going toe-to-toe. It's going to be tough for Demon. You really have to respect the damage that Baron can do early on, but if Zax makes early and frequent rotations up to the lane, they can really try and punish Ebok, because while Baron still has strong damage early on, his mobility and his survivability in the early game is not anywhere near as strong as it is later on in the game.
Definitely not, but this massive start from Eco right here, already stealing away back camps and pushing Next Gen out of his jungle. That is going to be a rough start for Shank and Suppress here.
Yeah, definitely not the kind of start they were hoping for. Eco, when you have this Grace, those are the kinds of plays you can make. We saw it so many times in Vainglory 8, where the Grace just goes aggressive early on, certainly up in the lane. Demon and Ebok going toe-to-toe a bit. Demon coming out a little bit worse for wear, but does have that Book of Eulogy, so he can heal up just by taking out these minions. As long as he avoids taking too much of the splash damage, he should be okay. And again, Ebok trying to use those jump jets aggressively for a little bit extra damage. He's looking to just force these minions underneath the turret, where while Demon is trying to farm up, he can pepper in a little bit of extra damage as well. Eco coming up, he's going to get a stun on Demani. Lots of damage. Zax rotating up from the jungle on the other side, and that will be first blood going over to Zax. Excellent movement from Misfits in order to force that issue to happen.
Absolutely great plays out of Eco there, particularly. That was a very impressive Grace play, both at the beginning with the invade as well as rotating up and picking off that gank onto Manny was absolutely perfect. And now Misfits looking very, very much like they're going to push this advantage right into the enemy jungle, and it looked like Zax may have got both of those. Next Gen sitting at 2 farm. I'm going to have to say that is what happened.
It definitely seems to be the case, but for now, again, Zax and Eco just really abusing this jungle, the early jungle strength that they have. Is this one going to get stolen as well? It is. Zax takes that away with a stun on the Next Gen. Zax is going to find another kill. This is a horrendous start to the jungle for the side of Shank and Suppress, and Misfits are just having their way with this Kestrel.
They are indeed, and let me tell you, the Sky's backs are going to be incredibly juicy when she rotates over there, because Zax has not seen his jungle in a while, so definitely something to look forward to. He is coming over here looking to wait for the Imperial Sigil to pop so that he can take away this Treant, but Next Gen is going to try to come over and secure it, and he does get to, but man, the damage coming through already this early is absolutely huge, and that looks like, oh, he actually made it out.
Very surprising, but for now, Zax, oh my goodness, finding another kill. Eco is pretty low, so is Zax. Next Gen trying to make this happen. Number shots are connecting. Zach's on about 1 hit point, but Eco says, I got you. Finishes off the kill. The healing tree is going to go over. I am Ebok. Should be able to find 1 kill there. At least gets the first. Still a long time on those jump jets cooldowns, and Grace is just so quick. Eco will be able to make it out of here alive. But again, Zax has just been terrorizing this jungle. There's 3 CS for next gen currently to his name, and that is just at 4 minutes. He's got less than 1 CS per minute currently in this game. He just cleared out a couple of camps and doubled his CS.
Yeah, definitely not the spot you want to be in. You know, jungle is typically half the gold is lane, but does provide more experience. So, you know, at 4.5 minutes, you really want to be around that, 20 going into 25 zone. So definitely going to be a hurt, because we know this Kestrel is supposed to be a early game aggressive hero, able to poke people out. And, with only 3 crystal bits at 5 minutes, it's going to be a little difficult.
Absolutely is. And right now, I am Ebok going to be going down. Manny trying to defend this turret. Next gen rotates up, but again, they're so far behind. You see 1 forward barrage takes next gen down to about 1/4 of his health remaining. And that is just from Zax alone. Now with Demon and Eco still hanging around, this turret is going to take some damage. Manny's just going to get dropped. Misfits are really just putting the pressure on to shank and suppress and putting the punishment to them.
They indeed are, and Eco looking to take away even more farm here. Zach's rotating down right now to make sure it gets cleaned up, and it does, and a huge kill coming over to Zach's to follow up, sitting at 6-1 in under 6 minutes.
Absolutely incredible. Again, this is how you control a jungle. And again, next gen is just essentially going to be unable to get any sort of effect in this game. He's just going to have no damage, no real defense. Demon taking a lot of damage from I am Ebok. Those shots are doing a lot. They're both going to kill each other simultaneously. That is, I guess when you're behind a 1-for-1 trade, you can kind of consider it a win. It's going to allow next gen to get a little bit of farm time in the jungle, because Zach's rotated up with Eco to the lane. So next gen, so much needed farming time, as he still has not even been able to complete the first tier 3 item. Meanwhile, Zax is working on his second, and just absolute dominance in the jungle thus far this game.
Indeed, it has been. And, it's been a while since I've really seen a Sky get this kind of edge. And Demon making a large push there, but Ebok showing him, I am Baron and my rockets are large.
It's definitely a lot of damage can come out of Baron. Like I said, no matter how far ahead you are, you have to respect that level of damage. Death from above is going to land a stun onto I am Ebok. Forward barrage will find the kill. Next gen doing what he can, but again, just so far behind, not able to have the damage. Demon's going to go low. Demon actually goes down. Manny body blocking for next gen. I don't know if Zax is going to be able to find any more from this. He's going to get the heal from Eco. They don't go diving underneath that tier 2 turret. Just going to work on this first turret and take that one down instead.
Yeah, and Misfits has been playing this game so incredibly well. This is, the last game was definitely in their favor, but this one is, 7 minutes in, 4,000 gold lead. This is, twice, almost 3 times the gold lead they had at this time in the last game. So definitely trying to take the edge and push the advantage early against this Baron, because they know if they allow this Baron to scale into the late game, he is going to be a nightmare.
Absolutely will be. It's finding another kill there onto the Baron. Finishes off the tension bow. It's 2 items for the Baron. Not too far behind. Like, I am Ebok, despite the 4 deaths, is doing okay as far as itemization is concerned. It hasn't fallen ridiculously far behind, but unfortunately, the same cannot be said for next gen. Just finished the Shatterglass at the same time as Zax finished off a Broken Myth. And so still going to be very, very heavily behind. Demon's going to come finish off his second tier 3 item as well. So Misfits, again, with a huge, huge lead. It's a 5,000 gold lead at 8.5 minutes, which is about to increase thanks to a full gold mine payout. One shot goes a little bit late. in the efforts to try and steal that away. So Misfits, again, just going to be able to push up, apply pressure on the turret, and continue looking for fights, even early infusions coming out from them. Not sure if we lost the nominee here or not, but hopefully he will be able to get back in here shortly. For now, Demon looking to push up onto IM Ebok. Eco is there with him. Zach's rotating up from the jungle as well. And this should just be Misfits looking to try and get pressure onto Shank and Suppress once more. They have the safety of the turret. The Lyra is going to start healing them up. And again, the later this game goes, the better the odds for Shank and Suppress will become. They can claw their way back into this game. Just going to require some extra defensive play. Focus on just clearing out these minion waves as quickly as you can. But Demon going in deep onto IM Ebok. Going to get the heal. Ebok staying alive thanks to Manny, but not long enough. They've got the one kill. Next Gen is going to go down as Manny gets stunned by the Grace. Will get out alive thanks to the portal, but this will be another turret being focused down by Misfits.
It will indeed, and Eco's really done such a great job on this Grace, using the boots properly to follow the Baron in when he uses the jump jets out, place a great Holy Nova to get the stun down, and that's really allowed Zax and Demon to get down the damage that they need. And unfortunately, the positioning has put Baron in the front line every one of these fights, so it's just been free damage for Zax on this.
It absolutely has been, and now with them rotating back down, I mean, pretty much every advantage you can imagine Misfits have taken. The only thing they really haven't done is tried to put pressure onto the Crystal Sentry. Coming up on 11 minutes, they've been able to find fights wherever they want. They've dove under turrets to find these kills and have not really had much opposition. As Demon once again going in up to IM Ebok, he jump jets away, but now there's nowhere for him to go. He's going to survive a little bit longer thanks to the Battling, but not enough. Now Next Gen will be the target. Manny, last member standing, is just going to get absolutely melted with that ace buff. This will be Misfits taking the choke point turret. We'll see how much more they decide to go for.
With the respawn timers as low as they are, Baron coming up and Crystal Kestrel, they're definitely going to want to rotate down through the jungle, maybe clean out the sentry. Zax is pretty low, though, so he's going to have to be careful. And they actually, surprisingly, despite having vision on the entire enemy team, did not push the sentry, which would have been nice to start getting those out of the way. But perhaps they're thinking, we're only 1 or 2 fights away from ending this. We don't need to worry about that. So as long as they can close out this game before Baron really starts getting into that 4th item, they should be fine.
And well, as of right now, 12 minutes in, we've still got 3 minutes till the Kraken. I have a feeling that Kraken will likely not be unleashed in this game either. These Misfits are just going to be looking to continue this dominant streak they've got in this best of 3. Already taking game number 1 in a very clean fashion, looking to have more of the same with no choke point turret. It's going to be difficult for Shank and Suppress to try and keep them at bay. Glimmer Shot's going to come out, trying to do as much damage as they can, but Manny gets caught a little bit, loses a lot of his health, but they're right next to their Sanctuary, so not going to be too much of a concern. There's not really a whole lot of lockdown from the side of Misfits, and that's going to make pushing into these final 2 turrets without finding a kill a little bit further out from the base somewhat difficult. Stun onto Manny, looking to get that damage down. IM Ebok will, however, get to the Sanctuary. Slumbering Husk popped for Eco, and I think Misfits are realizing that they're not really able to find a fight that far into the base. Never mind, Demon's going over the wall with Grace. They found one. The stun onto Manny will set them up for another. The portal away should help keep them alive. Ion Cannon just to try and keep them at bay. And Ebok jump jets himself out to safety, but with only 1 kill, Misfits, that's enough for them to go in under these turrets. First one is going to go down. From above comes out, doesn't connect, but they're still just trying to fight. They're going down very low. Again, Shank and Suppress have the advantage of their Sanctuary there. They find 1 kill, a big shutdown for Next Gen. They're going to go on to Eco as well. Glimmer Shot will find that kill. And now it's just Demon alone in this base. Misfits stepping a little bit over their bounds as they will be getting aced. And this is a small window of opportunity, like a crack in the window for Shank and Suppress.
You know, Baron's got this monocle completed, and he has enough gold to actually pick up a Lucky Strike as well as an Infusion. This could be a huge opportunity for them if they can protect the Baron. Unfortunately, the Kestrel is still incredibly far behind. He should have enough gold to finish off a Broken Myth next time he does shop. But I mean, you know, we're talking about 2 tier 3 items while Zax is working himself towards a 4th one. You know, definitely have the potential though with this Baron. I mean, he needs to pick up an Infusion with the gold he's got. Instead, he upgrades his boots and gets a Lucky Strike.
Well, 16-6 is the score line. It's almost a 10,000 gold lead, as it's sitting up at about 8 to 9,000 gold in favor of Misfits. They found Manny a little too far forward. Easy pickup on that kill there. Now Misfits gonna look to continue this pressure. Slumbering Husk keeps Demon healthy as they take down Next Gen, and I am Ebok. Lone member left trying to do everything he can to survive. Will get out to safety, but Misfits, I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't just go try and force that turret down. Maybe just being a little bit concerned about the AoE damage from I am Ebok if they were to try and do that. Kraken has spawned. Looks like Misfits are going to start this one up after all.
They are, and I think a lot of that's attributed to the fact that their minion wave was pushed so far back. And not only that, Sky is already not the best at taking objectives. And when it has that barrier, it's just that much harder. So Manny's coming down right now, hoping to get a Kraken steal off, but that's going to be a dead Lyra.
Absolutely is, and now they found Ebok as well. Demon will get that kill. He's about to fall. Will get that last-second heal from Grace to keep him alive. Now Manny, unfortunately, the flare spots him out. It is an ace, and it will be the game and the series going to Misfits. And looking strong in this showing against Shank and Suppress. Just not much that they were able to do in this one. The turret falls, and Misfits will be claiming their victory.
Yeah, and again, I don't really think this went any different than we thought it would. You know, again, this is a team that's always at the top of the Challenger battles, or Challenger series. You know, it's Misfits. It's, you know, it was a 4 seed versus a team that's relatively new to both playing together as well as being in the competitive scenario. So, you know, maybe a little bit of stage fright, maybe a little bit of unprepared. But Misfits takes this game number 2 with a clean 9-22 victory. Oh, they didn't end the game. Bacon, what are we doing?
I completely thought the game was over.
I did too.
I 100% thought the game was over, and somehow
I looked away. I looked away.
Oh my goodness! Shank and Suppress managed to find the fight somehow, some way, and save their Vein Crystal. I sincerely apologize. That was entirely our fault. But now Misfits, Kraken has been unleashed against them, but I don't think they care. They're looking for a team fight. Will be Demon getting healed up. Forward Barrage is coming out. Next Gen will be going down. Ebok falls as well. And with just Manny left alive, this will be Misfits actually ending the game here. Manny is not going to be able to stop them from finishing this off. I will wait until the crystal actually explodes this time around, and Misfits have picked up the victory in 2-0 fashion. Took a little bit more work than we were expecting, but Misfits do take the 2-0 victory.
I don't think I was expecting for Misfits to dive the fountain and all die. Is ideally what I'm most surprised by. Yeah, that was a little embarrassing.
I don't know what you guys were doing. I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, and they're like, and that's the game, and then Day just kept with it. You guys, man, that was real something. That was really something. All right, so actually, let's talk a little bit about that, because this game definitely showed us that Misfits is a very strong team, but that's a little bit of an issue, not closing out the game. That should have been a quick and easy kill. And I'll be honest, if this was any other team that was like maybe 4 or 5 seeds higher, that could have been a big problem. I mean, they could have lost that game there if that last team fight didn't go their way.
I'm going to be honest. Misfits shouldn't have dove for that last kill. They were all 3 alive. There was only one person on Shank and Suppress alive. That game should have been over.
No, absolutely. I mean, that was a little bit weird, I'll be honest. So, well, it is what it is, right? Ultimately, Misfits gets the result I think we were expecting, but that last few seconds of the game may be a little strange. I don't think they were expecting to have the Kraken taken on them. But with an exposed crystal, there's not much more that could have happened. I think at that point, if you're going to expose an enemy crystal, you're pretty much going to get the win. You just don't want to give up an ace in those situations. It's so risky. All right, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a quick break as we get ready for our next series. We're going to actually be doing Vision GG versus FV, Team FV, coming up next here. This is going to be an exciting one. We're actually moving on to our first matchup in round number 2 of the winners bracket, so the competition is going to get a little bit closer, and I'm actually really excited to see this matchup in a few moments. We'll see you guys all right after the break.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are getting ready for our second series of the day, and of course you guys are watching the Summer Challenger Series here in Split 2, and the action is already starting to heat up. And we just saw Misfits absolutely annihilate their competition here. Of course, that was Shank and Suppress, although of course this is double elimination, everybody, so just keep in mind that if you lose here today, you do drop down and play the elimination rounds. We'll be updating you guys on the results of that as those results come in. But taking a quick look, guys, I do want to talk about, as the brackets have started to kind of unfold here, no major surprises yet. We've actually seen all the top seeds win, so no upsets. You can see right here, Echo Fox, Infinity Rebirth, Intensity, and actually, Infinity Rebirth versus Intensity VG. We're not streaming that match, guys, but that is going to be an exciting and close match. I'm really excited to see the results of that, because these are two teams that have overall performed well in Challengers.
Really have, and we do have a sub playing for Vision Gaming, so it's going to be interesting to see where they really put everybody today. We know that Chicken has obviously been known for his captain in the recent date, and Sibs is really back and forth between lane and jungle. I personally think he is a stronger laner. I think he's actually a fantastic laner that may have been a little overshadowed on his time on Rogue, as he was obviously put into the jungle. So this should be a pretty exciting matchup to see how Sibs plays on this new roster. They are going to be playing with their coach, manager, Sloptop.
Okay.
Again, they are the higher seed. This is a team of people that are familiar with Vainglory competitive. They've been in the VG8. They've gone to live finals. This is a team that definitely has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and they're going into a team that I think very few of us maybe recognize, but these are players that are pretty high-tiered group of individuals here. Team Boy, Super Fox, Left Her for VG, and Chinese Swag. Scar's their sub, but these are guys that, we probably haven't really seen compete here on the VIS stage. I don't know, Dave, are these players at all that you are familiar with? Anything you could talk about them?
Not too familiar. Really hard to say. They're not very known as far as the competitive scene goes. I run into them in ranked, but this is the first time I've seen them together with this lineup. I've run into them individually, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to stand up to the brunt force that Vision Gaming is going to be able to bring to the table.
Well, let's talk about Vision Gaming here. And Tasty, when we look at this team, these are some, different roster than kind of a different roster than what we saw last split. And Vision performed very well, but they acquired some really impressive talent. Just look at that. Talk to me a little bit about what you think is really important for this team, Vision, specifically going into this week.
Yeah, well, Vision, like you said, they've picked up some very strong talent. There's some familiar names on this lineup. Obviously, Chicken has been there for them, but the new acquisition, Sibs, coming over from Rogue. He helped Rogue take the #1 seed in the challenge battles just this past weekend and announced on that Sunday that it was his final day with Rogue because he was going to be moving over to Vision Gaming as opposed to retaining his spot as a sub for Rogue, but showed in those challenge battles that he definitely still has what it takes to compete at a top level, and bringing that talent and that experience over to Vision Gaming could be just what they need to push themselves to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he played in challenge battles, like you said. He performed really well. And that was in the shoes of Pond the Original, who had really helped Rogue take it to the next level. Sibs came in and looked like he was playing just as good as Pond. So this guy, he's a star jungler. It's sad to see him leave Rogue. But it looks like he left on good terms. And it looks like he left, to go and seek really good opportunities. And this could be it here at Vision GG.
Absolutely could be. We've seen other players do similar things where they've, just dropped themselves off of a roster that was in the Vainglory 8 so that they could come and compete with a challenger team. It has worked for some. It has just narrowly fallen flat for others, but obviously Sibs feels like this is a great opportunity for him and a chance for him to be able to make it back to the Vainglory 8 is a starter this time around once again. So definitely, if it's a good enough opportunity for a player to feel like this is a roster that they can make it on, it's always a time where you have to kind of give a little bit of a closer look at that team, because if they feel like it's good enough opportunity for them to go off of a Vainglory 8 roster onto a challenger team, that especially when they won't have a chance to make it to the Vainglory 8 this season, it's definitely something that they are very confident in.
Yeah, I mean, these short seasons are pretty short-lived. Of course, the autumn season will be coming around the corner. But to make it to that first place is really important. It's also worth noting, guys, that there is, at the end of this challenge battles, there is cash prize for the top 4 teams. So that has not gone away as well. But there's just the pride of it. I mean, this is the top teams playing at Vainglory here in Challengers, short of the Vainglory 8. And you don't really want to take a season off. It can really be devastating for a lot of these players. And so Sibs, I think he just wanted to play. And, he's a top player. He's a really good player. I'd hate to see him not play as well. Looks like we just need, I think, a minute or so, and then we should be able to get into this game. So we're going to give our mods a quick minute. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this very short break. Hey everybody, welcome back. We need a short break there to get some things sorted out as we wait for the last team to get on here, the last few players of that team. And it looks like they're on, ready to go. So I'm going to be kicking it over to my boys, Tasty and Denominate. Let's get into this draft. And this one's definitely going to be interesting. Seeing these two teams, Vision, filled with a lot of talent, going up against a team that's pretty unknown. I'm kind of curious to see how this draft plays out.
I think it's going to start pretty standard. We're definitely going to see the Grace Baron, pretty common. That's going to give the Lyra over to the side of Vision Gaming. Is very likely going to be the first pickup pass through Catherine's Stormguard, as opposed to a Glimmer Shot or a Bad Mojo that's essentially going to nuke your own team on the Catherine's bubble.
Well, Sky going to be that last pick, and you need something that can contend with the Sky. The Samuel is an interesting pickup here. Samuel versus Sky tends to be a straight skill matchup. It really depends on who can get the better positioning first and who can find that early damage. Because if Sky gets a nice angle onto the Samuel, that forward barrage can do a ton of work, but Samuel can then use the Malice and Verdicts to sort of switch up his direction a bit and try and get out of that forward barrage. So it'll be very interesting to watch that jungle matchup. And of course, in the lane, Vox versus Glaive is going to be the two going head to head there. And you got to figure with a Glaive, going to start with a Book of Eulogies and just try and let the wave get pushed into him, take the minions, heal himself up, and look for opportunities to get those afterburns off.
They definitely could, and it looks like Sibs is going to be in the jungle on the Sky. Chicken is going to be in the captain position, and Slop Top is going to be up here in the lane. And now, the Samuel pick to me is really smart. So Samuel is obviously very poke heavy, which you can consider Lyra being good into, because once the poke's done, she can heal up the team and move on. But Samuel's Empowered Malice and Verdicts do so much damage, and Lyra has such low natural defense that we can really poke that Lyra out early and then get a War Treads heavy engage with the stun from Catherine.
Well, early on, it's just going to be a pretty standard start. Chicken trying to harass a little bit, just buying time while Sibs clears out the jungle, hits that early level 2. Now they have that level advantage going into the jungle here. Left for her for VG is going to be the target. Will go down for first blood. And now Chinese Swag has to run out of the jungle. Not going to be able to steal away too much more, but this does allow Sibs and the Chicken to go ahead and take this Ancient Treant. I would love to see them take this Treant and then go right back into the enemy jungle and try and clear out those backs as they respawn. It looks like they're actually going to just be recalling themselves. Sib's going to grab himself likely just a bunch more crystal power and upgrades into the heavy prism while Chicken moves up to the lane.
Indeed they will, and this Lyra is definitely going to provide a lot of sustain to Glaive, not only with the Sigil, but it has the actual Iron Guard contract as well. So when paired up with that Book of Eulogies, it gives melee heroes particularly an incredibly strong ability to stay in the lane and farm up safely. And as we can see, Slop Top had taken a lot of damage, but is now back full health. And it's almost like that poke from the Vox Resonance never happened.
So, Slop Top, like I said, just going to be hanging out, farming a bit. It's interesting that he started with a light armor. A lot of times when you're going up against a Vox in the lane, you want to start with a light shield, as those resonance bounces are magic damage, and that's your main source of threat against a Vox in the early goings. But Slop Top just building towards the later game. Doesn't want to have to worry about switching out any items or selling them or anything of the sort. So for now, just going to be farming up, finding that afterburn onto his Super Fox, but not knocking him the way he was hoping. And just going to continue farming. Meanwhile, down in the jungle, Sibs hasn't really been applying the pressure on to Chinese Swag. Hasn't really been looking to go aggressively into the jungle. I think a lot of that is stemmed from Chicken wanting to just stay up in this lane with Slop Top, making sure that the lane goes well. As long as you can find yourself an advantage there, it's going to be an afterburn, knocking Super Fox into the wall. Forward Barrage just tags him a little bit. I don't think they're going to have enough for a kill, but the Surrey Strike over the wall with the Forward Barrage finds another kill. Excellent job by Sibs to pick up that one.
Yeah, not only is that the first kill bounty going over to Sibs with that bonus first blood, it is a second kill going over to him, and that is going to accelerate him being able to get this Skye into the late game, which is really where it's going to be a threat to at least the Catherine. The Vox has the ability to, Sonic Zoom out of the Forward Barrage, and the Samuel should be playing far enough back that he's not really too worried about it. But again, if you can take the captain out of the whole scenario early, then it can definitely be a danger to your entire team.
Absolutely could be. Right now, it's going to be an opportunity for boys to go ahead and push up onto this turret, but that opportunity has slipped away. Nice afterburn onto Super Fox. That's very likely going to be a dead Vox. It is indeed. And so, excellent job with that afterburn. Able to find the kill. Chinese Swag going to avoid the death from above. It wasn't the best placed ultimate there, but Sibs just going to continue to try and put pressure on from over the wall. Afterburn, or Forward Barrage, connecting a bit. Afterburn is available if they want to try and knock someone out from under this turret, but they're not going to go for that what would be a very greedy play.
It would have been a very greedy play, and it could have been very risky. You've already got this 3-0 lead going for you. You don't really want to give it away, especially into a Vox Samuel composition, but here they go right now looking for this kill on Super Fox.
Super Fox is going to be down solo. Chicken will not be able to get the kill. Left her for VG, comes in just in time with the Fountain, and now all of a sudden it's Chicken that's in trouble and has to use Fountain to keep himself alive. Sib's going to rotate over. And I like how Chicken he just tried to use the Gold Miner just as a body block just in case. Meanwhile, up in the lane, Slop Top went very aggressive, found a kill under the turret. Sibs takes down Chinese Swag. Slop Top did end up falling because he went a little bit too deep, but now Sibs and Chicken looking for these backs. They unfortunately are not there, however, so they're going to have to recall their way out of the jungle.
Yeah, and a really good merciless pursuit from Lefter for VG. Slop Top did go underneath the turret for that kill, was taking the turret aggro, and he got stunned up, took an extra turret shot for it, and 380 damage was his demise. So definitely got to be wary of those turrets here in the early game. Going into the late game, Glaive should be able to tank up a couple shots, but 3 shots at 6 minutes is going to be definitely not something that even Glaive with a high health pool can handle.
Not at all. So right now they're going to be going in again, just trying to really punish Super Fox and put him far behind. It's a pretty good CS lead for Slop Top thus far in this early goings, having himself about a 10 CS advantage over Super Fox. And that's always good. You want to make sure you have a lead over a Vox. That's another afterburn. Super Fox, that's not the direction you want to be going into. Slop Top should be able to chase this one down. Meanwhile, Sibs and Chicken are attempting to get out of the boys' jungle. Slop Top still chasing Super Fox around. Really wants to find this kill. Does eventually secure it. Meanwhile, due to the rotation, Sibs and Chicken are now up in the lane and are going to be putting pressure onto Chinese Swag and Lefter for VG. Forward Barrage gets a lot of damage down. Slop Top's made his way back. Are they going to go diving under the turret? Yes, they are. That's going to be an afterburn onto Lefter for VG. The fountain gets used. Oblivion not going to connect. Sibs will get out of harm's way. Chicken has to use the fountain as well, but they get out safely.
They do get out safely, and with the other team having already burned their fountain as well, it's not too terrible that he had to burn fountain to save them from the turret. They will be up within a couple seconds of each other, so definitely going to be something to look into. Super Fox sitting a little bit behind here in the lane. He's about 60 CS, so he does not have the tension bow completed yet. As soon as he gets a chance to rotate down, though, he will have it, and that's where Vox really starts to take off. Obviously, the Poison Shiv is a little bit of a spike, but getting that tension bow complete, that burst in the early game is definitely huge.
It absolutely is. And you look at the difference in the builds. While Super Fox has the tension bow, Slop Top has gotten himself the Sorrow Blade. So just, again, a little bit extra flat damage coming out. Lefter for G is going to find stun, but that's going to be a big afterburn onto the Samuel. Chinese Swag, though, stays alive, sneaks a Malice of Verdict through the uprights, and gets the kill. Now, Chicken and Sibs, they are on the run as Super Fox is finding this damage. Chicken has to use a portal to get out to safety, and all of a sudden, boys able to find a couple kills. Sibs and Chicken still very low. We rely on that sigil, trying to clear out these minions and get that carrier back up on the turret as Chenny Swag goes diving under the turret, finds a kill. Is he going to pay for it, though? Last turret shot will take him out. But it is definitely some momentum here for boys.
It is indeed, and now Slop Top is back up here in the lane. Super Fox rotating down, trying to find a treant. It was not there, and now it is, but it's a little too late. He has to come back up and try to defend this turret. He should be able to heal up a bit off of the wave, and he does, so he should be safe as Chicken doesn't have any energy right now. Lefter for VG coming back into lane now. Lots of vision on the side of boys right now.
Yeah, they've definitely been looking to find themselves opportunities to get back in. They're doing a really good job of not letting themselves fall too far behind. Even though the kills are going over, lots of kills were found early on by Sibs, Chicken, and Slop Top. They haven't been able to make much happen objective-wise off it, although they are very likely to find this turret. And Team Boys coming up to try and contest, but with the Death from Above going down, that's the turret knocked out. Super Fox hits Afterburn, gets dropped. The fountain can't even save him. Now a nice Oblivion from Samuel will it get blocked, actually, I believe. I think it may have hit onto Chicken, but it's not really going to matter. Chinese Swag is going to get that for even more. A quick kill onto the Samuel. The Dark's still there, but there's nothing to come from it. It's going to be a fountain getting used to heal up Sibs as they dive in deep. Super Fox goes down to the Lyra, and Sibs wants this ace. Going underneath the turrets is going to fall, but finds the ace as the final shots of that forward barrage. And we're able to get the kill with that ace buff. It will be Slop Top and Chicken taking this second turret.
Yep, and we are working towards, that choke point turret could be very well going down to the next fight. We are also getting very close to the Kraken being on the board, so depending on the timing, if Vision Gaming can find another fight, they can definitely push a huge objective. But if boys are able to find a fight like they did not too long ago where they can clean up Glaive after burning in a little too early without his team there to support him, they could definitely swing this very easily.
And there will be opportunities. It's just a matter of being able to survive that initial burst of damage that comes out. If Sibs has a target lock and that target gets afterburned in, they're really just going to be going down so quickly. They need to be a little bit preemptive. That's going to be another shot onto Chinese Swag, and that's exactly what I was talking about. They've got Slop Top very low, but not low enough. A beautiful death from above connected onto Super Fox to prevent that kill from going over. And now Lefter for VG going to try and play games with the Sentry, try and have it body blocked, but Afterburn says, I don't care about your body block. It is another ace for Vision Gaming, and Crystal Sentry will fall as well.
Crystal Sentry will fall as well, and this turret is very likely to take a large amount of damage as well. With the Ace Buff minions here, it's going to drop, but Super Fox and Chinese Swag are coming in to make an attempt. Huge damage coming out of Vision Gaming right now, though.
Yeah, absolutely massive. They find a couple more kills. Lefter for VG, the last line of defense now with still Ace Buff minions in the base, stripping away the barrier on the turrets. Going to take one of these crystal turrets, and Vision Gaming in complete control.
They are sitting up 18-4 right now and getting ready to clean out some additional jungle from the side of boys. Sibs picking up those treants, going to refresh some of his energy. He does now have the Eve completed, and this is a very scary build here on the Sky.
Absolutely is. I mean, you've got so much damage coming out. The 3-item Sky is a terrifying thing to deal with, especially with this Glaive being able to set up so many kills. You have the infusions available on both of them as well, just adding onto this damage. Chicken has an Echo. This is something that we don't really see on Lyra. I assume it's going to be used to just put down double sigils and make sure everyone stays alive. Maybe double portals just for some fun, but there's going to be going in. They find a lot of damage. That's one kill already taken care of. Super Fox gets afterburned backwards, has nowhere to run as the forward barrage follows him to his death. Lefter for VG will get on to the Sanctuary, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. This final turret is getting melted down, and unlike Misfits, Vision Gaming are not going to be diving into the enemy sanctuary and extending the game's duration. They end this one very clean and very quick game for Vision Gaming.
Well, Slop Top did dive in for the Catherine, but luckily he had the boots available, was able to boots out safely, and this is the game finishing. No more sloppy letdowns. No more quitting casting in the middle of the game.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this matchup here. This was very one-sided and very similar actually to the first game of Misfits, because that game actually ended at about the same time. That game was 15 minutes and a few seconds as well. So kind of interesting that you have these two high-seeded teams, both of them not quite able to make it. They kind of have the same story, guys, right? Like, not quite able to cut it to get into challenge battles, but so close.
They were indeed so close, and again, they have the roster to do so, especially coming through this season. They don't have,
right.
I want to say, quite as difficult of teammates to make it through, or enemies to make it through. This is still going to be very close competition, don't get me wrong. Just we had a very stacked Immortals roster and a very stacked Rogue roster that they had to go up against in the last season. And, maybe to me, Echo Fox, NRG, maybe on a little more of an even footing. So as the season goes on and as players' skill and team synergy develops, this could definitely be a same scenario going into next season where these teams could be potentially able to take out some VG8 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you're absolutely right about how last split challengers were very, very intense. And now we're starting to see that skill tier come back to what we've maybe expected from past seasons, which is still very good. But, you're not talking about a top 3 team, sitting at the helm of the challengers with another top 4 team right beside them in Rogue, as Rogue proved really to be an incredibly strong team. And I think you'll see as they go into the Vainglory 8, very, very, very strong. Well, it looks like we're about ready to get into this second matchup here of the day. Just waiting actually for you, Tasty, to get back into the game.
I don't know why you're waiting for me, because I'm in the lobby and have been.
Oh, strange. Might just be might be a spectator bug on my end, so I do apologize about that. All right, I think we're ready to get started here in just a few seconds. As we get into the draft, though, so far the draft has been pretty consistent here. Now, it is just single ban, so there's a little bit less flexibility, but we have seen typically Baron and Grace banned with just one game as an outlier so far across the 3 that we've streamed. Do you expect the same to be happening going into this game?
Definitely a pretty strict meta in the single ban draft format here in North America. At least we almost typically always see either a double lane carry ban, the Vox and the Baron, a double healer ban, the Lyra and the Grace, or some combination of the two. Can typically be the Grace Baron, but just a couple huge power picks that it's smart on A side to ban away the Grace, because then you do leave your team available the choice of what power pick you want. Obviously, if you can only ban away the Baron, then that gives your team an easy pickup on the Lyra. And, that's what we saw Vision Gaming do last game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the side of boys alter their draft going into A side.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that, because you leave that one healer open, Lyra has been picked almost every single game here, and that means that... Or banned, yeah. There's just that one game, right? That's the outlier. That's the one game that's a little interesting. That draft went a little bit differently than I think we'll see even many of the other games go here today. We're just waiting to get this match started, and it looks like we should be getting into the draft here in just a few seconds.
Yep, it looks like they may be really thinking about the ban here. I think that the Glaive had a massive performance last game, as well as the Sky. I still think you don't want to give away over a Baron or a Grace to the side of Vision, and that's what it is. They do ban away the Grace, which is what Vision did last game, and there's the other healer coming out, the Lyra. So now that does leave the Baron available, but the Idris is also still on the table as well. So boys are looking to maybe lock in a Glaive here as a strong flex pick, or pick up the Baron. To me, I'm not sure the Idris with the Catherine on the table is a smart first pick. And it does look like they're going to go with the Baron. So we'll very likely see a Idris and a Catherine pick up here for Vision Gaming.
Yeah, should be. Actually, if they just go Idris Catherine, that should actually set themselves up quite well against this Baron. And then they can save that final pick to be a counter pick. And they are going to grab that Idris right away. Love seeing Idris come out. I think it's a pick that has one of the highest skill caps in the game. It means if you are a very good Idris, you can really just take over a matchup and control things. Either you go weapon or crystal. That's the other beautiful thing about it, is you have that flexibility to go down whichever path you feel. They are going to go for the Arden instead of the Catherine, though.
Yeah, and that's actually a little bit interesting to me, because the Catherine is available now to go into this Idris, which can really provide a lot of safety zone for Baron. So I do want to lean a little more on the side of Vision Gaming, just on the actual skill portion of the game. But it does look like boys are setting up a good composition to go into this Vision roster.
Yeah, very much so. Is they're going to grab themselves that Black Feather. It's someone that can kind of go toe-to-toe with the Idris a little bit. Lance, I think, is a great pick into an Idris. If you can lock him down, prevent him from being able to use all of that massive mobility he has, you can definitely have the opportunity to blow up Idris in an instant. Samuel as the final pick. I like the Samuel here because it can act as a front line for the team. and you can get a lot of poke and harass. And then once you get them a little bit low, that's when the Idris can dive in and just assassinate a target. So that's definitely going to be, or should be the plan, at least for Vision Gaming, is to try and just set up the opponents with the poke damage from the Samuel, some chakrams getting thrown out, and then once they get down to about half health, that's when Slop Top can dive in with this Idris and just delete targets.
Indeed, they can. And I'm actually a little surprised to see the Samuel pickup here going into the Lance. Samuel isn't a bad pick. I think there might have been a couple other picks that would have been better going into the Lance front line, as he does reduce a percentage of damage as he upgrades that Githian wall. So definitely something that the Lance can do into the Samuel, force him to burn out some of the energy early trying to poke through. But if we can get a good gauntlet here out of Chicken and really trap Baron before he hits that level 8 spike, they could pick up a couple easy kills early and really push objectively on it.
And Chicken going to be just making sure that Sibs can get a clean jungle start. There's no invasions going to be happening, so Sibs will be hitting that level 2 early on. Chinese Swag will also hit level 2 early, but the Samuel level 2 power spike is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, level 2 spike in the game. And so now that Sibs has that, after clearing out this middle treant, see if they look to make something happen right away. Chinese Swag's going to be clearing out his front camps here. He's got a little bit of a clear speed edge over Sibs early on, but again, if they were to get into a skirmish, that would likely go the way of Sibs just because of how strong Samuel is. But, well, when you start off the Ancient Tree, and it's a little bit of an equalizer, here comes the Drifting Dark. First couple Mouse and Vertix going to get soaked up by the Treant. However, now he is free to dish out this damage. Chinese Swag going very, very low. Chicken will likely be able to finish that one off. The barrier from the on point keeps him alive a little longer, but that is first blood going the way of Vision Gaming.
Yeah, definitely a huge spike there, and that's exactly what we've seen. The Drifting Dark came up, and the damage that came down on the Chinese Swag was absolutely massive. I think one of the only heroes that can really compete with the spike that Samuel gets to level 2 is maybe a Kashka into a Assassin or a Mage hero. But definitely Sibs making short work of Chinese Swag on this Baron, and it actually is Chicken that cleans up the kill, as obviously Sibs did not want to get rooted by that Ancient Treant or the Lance. And now Sibs looking to rotate up here as his Drifting Dark is ready to come off a cooldown in just a second.
Yeah, and then you gotta figure as soon as it's off cooldown, they're gonna look for a play. They start pushing up. Drifting Dark comes out. Lots of damage onto Super Fox. Gonna have to jump Jets away, but now Lefter for VG could be a target. Drifting Dark wears off, and they won't be able to find any kills here, but lots of pressure getting put out by Vision Gaming. Lefter for VG is going to go down. Chicken finding another kill. Great start once again for Vision Gaming as Slop Top just going to be able to take out these minions. And with the recall from Super Fox, this is a really big opportunity for Vision to shove these minions into the turret and force this Baron to miss out on a lot of CS.
He is, but Chinese Swag is doing a great job here, taking away the back camps of Vision Gaming. Sibs looking to find a Malice and Verdict, but just a little bit shy. He is, however, going to get his Treants, though, and those are really the biggest net gain of experience that you can get. So he shouldn't, as a Samuel who really scales as he levels up, he shouldn't miss out too much, especially if he's able to steal away the enemy's Treant as well. Chinese Swag does have a little bit of a level advantage as Chicken and Sibs have been spending a lot of time together in the jungle.
Yeah, absolutely have been looking to find advantages, and they might be finding Chinese Swag here. That's a lot of damage going down once again. Oh, Drifting Dark not going to go in the direction that Sibs needed it to. Nice job by Chinese Swag to sort of bait that out and then go the opposite direction. However, Vision Gaming, again, maybe looking to put pressure on this turret. However, Slop Top needs to be careful. Nice job dodging that Impale. Lefter for VG going to be punished by taking about a quarter of his health. And probably closer to about a third, but either way, here comes Sibs. Lots of damage with the Drifting Dark, Malice and Verdicts once again. Super Fox again going to have to use those jump jets to get to safety.
He indeed is, and it was a great use out of Chicken there with the Vanguard to give Slop Top that additional movement speed to get out of the way of the Impale. Chinese Swag is rotating up here, trying to help Super Fox from losing this turret, but man, a Chakram and some Malice and Verdicts chunk him out very quickly.
Absolutely. Lots of damage. Malice, especially when they're empowered with that Drifting Dark, are a very, very scary thing. Sibs to try and secure that Treant. I believe he did get it. And now Chinese Swag has to run away. They're going to at least have the safety of their Crystal Sentry there to prevent any further pushing from Vision Gaming. But again, this rotation down, Chicken leaving the lane. Slop Top tried to get the cancel of that recall on the Super Fox, but Super Fox was not going to take the bait. Recall goes through, gets back to base, and we'll be able to buy up. I'm interested in seeing where these builds are going to go. Slop Top going right for a Sorrow Blade. That's pretty standard on a Idris, so that you can get your divergent paths as quickly as possible. And being able to have that blink instead of a dash is actually a really important tool. Gets himself in onto Super Fox. Going to be applying lots of damage with that Sorrow Blade. Super Fox has to jump away. Here comes the rest of Vision Gaming, though, from the jungle. Sibs has to back himself out, but Slop Top finds the kill onto Super Fox. Now just going to be looking to heal up. Still has that Book of Eulogies, and so he's still healing up. And thanks to farming, now Sibs picking up that Treant is going to be able to come back in as well. The fountain was just used by Team Boys. And now Lefter for VG is going to be in some trouble. More Malice and Verdicts going out. Pressure onto the turret. Slop Top's diving in deep. Just knows that he can do so without taking much damage thanks to the barrier that is provided due to his heroic perk on the dash. Yeah, Shroud Step. Thank you very much, Denominate. Well, again, big lead starting to build up for Vision Gaming.
It is a big lead starting to develop for them. Chinese Swag takes a lot of damage, but fortunately Vision doesn't find too much onto the turret. So they will be able to keep that up, but sitting almost 2,000 gold extra in the pocket for Vision, it's starting to look really good. Now they do have the early game composition advantage, I would say, going into a Baron, but Samuel is also going to scale up as the game goes on. So definitely going to be unique to see how this game goes through. If Chinese Swag can find some good on points and line them up with a Jump Jets from Super Fox, they definitely have potential to take this squishy composition and really punish it for engaging.
And that's what they're going to have to do. They need to just survive until the late game when this Baron can really come online. Right now, Slop Top looking to make sure that is not something that can happen. All of Vision Gaming is here. That's Oblivion going to not connect, but they have a lot of damage onto Lefter for VG. Sibs is about half health, but still has fountains and plenty of healing available. Lefter for VG is so low, the Chakram will actually kill him on the way back in. And now Slop Top going to use that Glimmer Strike to get onto Super Fox, but just be careful underneath this turret. They find another kill. Chicken gonna try and keep Chinese Swag close. They do find one kill for the side of Team Boys, but Chinese Swag is still gonna be fighting Sibs. Sibs not gonna find that final kill. However, Vision Gaming did take the turret, and so that will give them a nice chunk of gold.
It will indeed, and that extends their gold lead to about 3,000. The Drifting Dark does pick up a little bit of aggro from the Gold Miner, but it is Sibs finding a clean kill onto Chinese Swag, and now Chicken and Sibs are going to make their way through the jungle.
With that cleanup, 6 kills to 1 in favor of Vision Gaming. Come on, they already have the 1-game lead. Lefter for VG just going to be slapping Slop Top into the wall. While Super Fox is going to be able to recall out to base, picks up that Sorrow Blade. That's a very important item for this Baron to have. He relies so heavily on being able to have that massive damage, the big burst damage up front especially. Now we'll see how much they'll be able to do to Slop Top, but Chinese Swag walks right into Vision Gaming and get taken down low. It just doesn't look like they have quite enough damage to find the kill, as they don't want to go diving into that Crystal Sentry just yet. They could go ahead and start up this Gold Miner if they really want to, but they want this kill. They're going to be persistent Look for Chinese Swag again, and once again he gets under the Crystal Sentry, and Vision Gaming backs off. They're just not quite willing to go diving in, although I think they really probably should have. You need to be aggressive when you've got this Idris. Now they're going to be finding lots of damage on Chinese Swag again. This time, though, they are a little bit further out. Chinese Swag is going to try and get over the wall, but Sibs is just waiting on the other side of that wall for him to come over and get that kill. They finally get their mark, and now they can look to start up this gold miner.
They indeed can, and I think Chinese Swag really thought he was coming over that wall to a low health Sibs. Don't think he really saw that the fountain had already come out of Chicken, so he was looking for that last on point, or maybe the Rose offensive to finish off a kill, but it was not quite there. Sibs with a basic attack finishes him off, and now that is a massive lead starting to form for the side of Vision.
All right, well, with this now pushing in onto the turret, Vision Gaming looking to find even further leads. As far as gold is concerned, they've already got themselves about a 5,000 gold lead. And now pushing up onto this turret. Lefter for VG is going to have to recall. Never mind, sticks around. This could be dangerous. Sibs using the Drifting Dark to apply extra damage in there. That AoE, they're going to find one kill. They find the turret as well. They're going to stick around for more. Super Fox coming out. I think they're going to have to run. Slop Top is going to get healed up thanks to the fountain. A beautiful gauntlet would have stunned up Super Fox if they hadn't already died as it landed. And now Vision Gaming can look for even more. Onto this tier 3 turret they go. Should be able to take this one down, although respawns are coming through. They find the kill onto Chinese Swag. Ridiculous is right. And with that choke point turret falling, this is starting to really get a little bit out of hand. And the game is definitely getting away from Team Boys now.
It definitely is, and it seems like just seconds ago we were talking about the 4,000 gold lead, and now we're sitting about 7,000 with Chicken picking up a go for this Arden, very likely going to be used on the Vanguard or on the Gauntlet, just depending on the scenario. Gonna be interesting as this game goes on. The Baron obviously still has room to scale up. He has now completed that third item. But Slop Top is looking into getting a metal jacket here, very likely after he completes this wave.
Alright, well, as this lead continues to grow, Chinese Swag and Leftover VG gonna get spotted out here, but they're gonna be able to get out to safety. However, can't say the same for Super Fox as Slop Top just chases him down, finds that kill. Chinese Swag did recall and pick up that broken myth. Don't know if that's going to be enough to keep him alive. Has to immediately throws offensive away. And I believe Lefter for VG has entirely given up on this game.
It's either looking like that or he has having some connection issues. Really kind of hard to tell.
I don't think it is that hard to tell.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. It does look like he's given up. Trying to be nice, but it's pretty clear.
Hate to see that happen. I mean, even if you're losing by a large margin, at least fight it out. But that is going to be 2 kills, 1 going each way. Chinese Swag trying to escape, trying to get away from Slop Top and Chicken. Slop Top actually is more interested in the center in the tree, and it gets stolen and makes Chinese Swag pay for that. They can't get an ace anymore. That's the good news for the side of the Team Boys, is that there will be no more aces coming through until Lefter for VG decides to play again. But Chicken and Slop Top going to be looking to push in a bit. There's going to be, oh my goodness, not even able to get back to the Sanctuary. Slop Top is just so far ahead here.
Yeah, it is looking like Vision Gaming's game to win here. It's just there's not much else you can say. I just pretty unfortunate to see the lack of sportsmanship here.
And it's definitely upsetting, but credit to Super Fox and Chinese Swag, still trying to play this one out, trying to find opportunities. Nice Oblivion from Sibs will put Super Fox to sleep. Chinese Swag gonna do what they can, but they're on to the Vein Crystal now. And it should just be a few moments away from Vision Gaming taking this one. 17-3 will be the score line as the Vein Crystal is about to explode. Sibs getting a little overzealous, wanting to improve his CS per minute numbers, I suppose. But they are going to be taking the crystal down and finishing the game. And Vision Gaming will take this one 2-0.
That is Vision taking it 2-0. They, put up a huge performance. Sibs really making a name for himself on this Vision roster. That'll be Vision moving forward. And again, it's, this Vision team is a team made up of players who have been in the VG8. They know all about Vainglory competitive, and they're looking to work their way back up to the first place spot so they can go to the Unified Finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Super unfortunate that it had to end that way, as you guys were talking about. If you're going to play at this high level, if you're going to compete and come in the Vainglory 8, and there's a lot of good players, from C32 all the way to number 1, but there's really no room for being unsportsmanlike or for being, poor loser and whatnot. So that's unfortunate. That being said, though, I'm really impressed with Vision. I actually think that they played very clean throughout this entire series. So definitely hats off to them. Looking forward to see them continue to move on. With that, though, guys, we are going to be looking to get into our third and final series of the night. And with that, we're also going to hopefully look at updating the brackets for you guys and give you guys a quick rundown before we get into our next series of all the games that have been played so far. We'll see you guys after this short break for our third and final series.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Welcome back, everybody, as we look to get ready into our third series. This is, of course, the VIS Challenger Series here. Summer Split 2 is underway here as we get Group A off to a hot start. And so far, no major upsets. Well, technically, no major upsets, although I guess you could say technically there is one, and that is actually going to be our next matchup, guys, as Unity did beat Team FV, as they were a 16 seed versus a 17 seed, and 17 seed winning it out, guys. This is going to be our next matchup, although I think you could argue that's really not an upset as how close those seedings were. Anyways, but as I'm left there hanging. So guys, it's actually going to be our last series of the day, and let's talk a little bit about this. Echo Fox, one of those teams, really actually looked very good going into Challengers. They had a good week, that final week or so before they got dropped down, and then of course it just all fell apart. They had that one last series against Immortals, weren't able to pick up a victory, and now they're here, the number 1 seed, Echo Fox.
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult matchup for the side of Unity. Echo Fox, definitely had a shot at getting themselves to retain their Vainglory 8 spot. They were just starting to get some momentum behind them in the Vainglory 8, but unfortunately were not able to retain their position, and so they were dropped back down to the Challengers once again. Unfortunately,
and when we look at this roster for Echo Fox, it's definitely one that's really pretty stacked. They did really well. Supershot's not playing today, though, and as we look to get into this draft, I'm curious to see how that will impact them. We do, of course, have Yazuru stepping right back in as the starter. So, game 1. Looking to kick off here. Echo Fox starting off with the Lyra ban. Now, that's a little bit interesting to see Lyra come banning. I mean, we've seen Grace ban, we've seen Baron ban here. So, what's the advantage? I guess, does that mean, like, when you ban Lyra first?
The Lyra ban is purely to guarantee that they can get either Grace or Baron. It forces your opponents to... I would actually say that their opponents should not ban either of them, but you may want to just take the Grace away and give the Baron over so that you can then take Idris and perhaps even Catherine if you really want. But it's making sure that that side of Echo Fox will be able to get one of those 2 big power picks.
And there it is, the Baron locked in. So moving into the side of Unity, I think you have to pick up the Catherine and the Idris here if you want to move on in this game with a safe set of picks into the Baron at least.
Well, that's going to be the Catherine picked up. Again, I would really like to see an Idris come out, but sometimes with the Challenger teams, we don't know if they necessarily have that in their hero pool. That would be a big detriment to them if they don't. They are going to go for the Black Feather. Could also be a situation where, they
knock her away with the Githian wall.
Alright, so we'll see how they can do with this. Samuel as the final pick. Samuel to go up against the Sky again. It's pretty much a skill matchup as Echo Fox have a little bit of fun with swapping their heroes back and forth. But the skill matchup of who can get into the positioning that they need in order to dish out the damage, and who can find the movements up to the lane first. It's going to be Baron versus Black Feather in the lane matchup as we get onto the fold for a final series of the day. Echo Fox taking on Unity.
I'm going to be honest with you, Bacon. It looks like all of that swapping from Fox actually got Slata in the lane and Yazuru on the Lance. So this ought to be interesting going forward.
Yeah, definitely a interesting situation. I mean, typically what we had seen in the past few weeks of Vainglory 8 was, as Dragonborn had mentioned, Super Shot in the lane with Irwin in the jungle and Slata as the captain. But with Yazuru coming in to the roster, once again, I'm not sure. Again, we don't know if it was just a permanent change or if it's just super shot not being available. Yazuru is back in, is going to be playing captain this time around. So obviously a very flexible team. We've seen them play multiple roles before, so not really something that's going to put them out of their comfort zone too much.
Definitely not. And, you know, again, the composition they have set up to me is just incredibly strong into the Black Feather Catherine and Samuel picks. The Baron should be able to make short work of Black Feather if he dives in. And again, the Lance just going to be able to push the Catherine away every single time she tries to come in.
Lots of damage coming out from Echo Fox. Right now, it's going to be a Drifting Dark. Altenberg's going out. Not too many are going to be able to connect thanks to some body blocking by the minions. But Fedito is getting down very low. Nice job stunning Yazru out of the Impale. Going to drop him very low, but it's first blood going over to Salada on this Baron. Takes down Savage OG. Kuis going to be trying to chase down Irwin, trying to use this Malice and Verdict to find a kill. Will be able to. The Suri Strike just coming out a little bit late to prevent the death there by Irwin. So we're sitting at 1 kill apiece 2 minutes in.
1 kill apiece with the first blood going over to Fox, and actually it looks like Unity is going to pick up a second kill onto Slata. The stun coming through from Catherine and Blackfeather marching his way back into lane. Looking like he might be working into a Serpent's Mask first item.
And very likely to be the case. Obviously, for Echo Fox, they need to be a little bit careful here. You know, between the rampant hero switching resulting in Slata in the lane and some of the movements that they've made here early on, they have to be careful that they don't just put too much disrespect towards their opponents. Because even though there is a pretty large seeding gap between these teams, we've been talking about the seeds, you know, the teams even at the lower seeds are still very, very strong teams. And if you aren't careful, you could find yourself dropping a game to a team that you really should be able to beat. And Unity, that second kill, they're still behind in gold just due to farm. But Echo Fox looking for a little bit more here. Lots of pressure being put out.
It is indeed, and again, Slata on this Baron and Irwin on the Sky. As the game goes on, they will both start to scale pretty unbelievably. Unity, though, if they can find Slata out, should be able to pick up some kills, but unfortunately the Malice and Verdicts don't land, and that is going to be Fox winning out on the trade there, but nobody dying.
Yeah, no one going down just means Echo Fox can jump into the jungle and clean out a couple of minion camps here and getting themselves, oh nope, they're not going to get the Ancient Treant as it sacrifices itself to the item shop. And that will be 4 minutes in now. The jungle intensifying. Unity trying to push this wave up and trying to make Slata miss some camps, but with Slata jumping over the wall, he should be okay. And isn't going to be really missing out on too much as a result. This is an opportunity for Unity to recall, though. Although Savage, just went back to base, not too infrequent. That's not a word. Not too long ago. It's a much simpler way of putting what I was trying to say. And they are going to be sticking around for now, just looking to find opportunities to keep Echo Fox at bay, because Echo Fox is really trying to put some pressure on.
Echo Fox is indeed trying to put some pressure on, and I do like what Irwin has gone for thus far on the Sky, moving into overdriving the B first, it looks like is what he's going to go for, that Suri Strike, knowing that he's going to want to use that ability to get out of Blackfeather and Catherine's damage.
Irwin.
And then Irwin going a little too
deep under the turret, but finding a kill, gets out alive thanks to a timely fountain from Yazuru. And just like that, 2 more kills going the way of Echo Fox. That was such an aggressive play. But Echo Fox make it work.
Yeah, great play coming out of Echo Fox there. Irwin making it out on just a sliver of health, but a good fountain coming through from Yazuru does help him. And fortunately, Yazuru has dragged the aggro away, and Samuel might have actually been able to find Irwin or Slata on Baron if he would have stayed.
Yazuru was about to go down, and now it's up to Irwin. 1v3 situation, does land one stun, trying to take out Fedito, not going to be successful. And again, members of Unity taking advantage of Echo Fox, maybe being a little bit of overconfident, sticking around much too long in the enemy jungle.
They are, and that actually puts us at a little bit of a kill advantage for Unity. Baron being forced to use the ion cannon to clear out some of the farm. And it doesn't look like he missed any of them, though, so good plays by Slata there. And he is sitting up quite a bit of farm, actually, in the lane. Sitting about 21 farm up.
And that's not a good spot for Savage OG to be in. Giving a lead to a Baron is a very scary thought. You're just going to see the amount of damage coming out. We went for that Sorrow Blade first. Looks to be going straight into the Tyrant's Monocles, foregoing the Tension Bow that we see so frequently. So much damage coming out. Gets both Savage and Kui low. Fountain Renewal has to get used by Fedito. Now Kui going to try and return some damage, but they're mostly just need to focus on clearing out these minion waves and keeping Echo Fox at bay. As long as they can prevent Echo Fox from getting too much damage onto that turret, it's not going to be the end of the world for Unity. But, they do need to make sure that they stay careful, because it's going to be at a point where Echo Fox, they have a lead. They are stronger in terms of items right now, but when they go aggressive like this, Slata is going to be the first one to fall. Kui is still alive on the back lines, but is very, very low. Savage OG trying to take down Irwin, going to turn their attention onto Yazuru. And Yazuru is able to set up Irwin, but it doesn't do enough. Yazuru finds one, but it's a 2-for-1 trade thus far, and Unity is going to come out on top of this skirmish.
They do actually come out on top of the skirmish there. I think it's a little bit more on the fact that Slata went way too deep. I do like that he's gone for the Sorrow Blade and Monocle first, just because of the lead they have. What I'm really concerned about is the fact that Savage OG's first Tier 3 completed item is a Slumbering Husk. And that's really going to limit the damage that in this early game, Unity needs to kill the Baron.
Yeah, especially early on, like the Slumbering Husk, it just gets popped. It got popped right there by one shot from Slata. Really not an efficient first item. And it is based on your max health. They're going to be going in on the Slata, though. They've got plenty of damage taken down. And they do find that kill. He's going to be going down low, gets rooted up, and Irwin finds that kill. Can Irwin find any more? Nice stun onto Fedito. Savage OG still healthy for now. Is going to be able to back away and get out safely, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel like the Slumbering Husk, not a great first item.
Yeah, and I definitely want to say that the kills onto Slata there were both due to Slata's positioning. He jumped in way ahead of the team, got stunned up. Again, the Husk is literally getting popped the first basic attack from Baron. It's really limiting the damage that Unity is going to be able to put out. Right there again, the Husk is down for 45 seconds now, or
30 seconds.
30 seconds now. So,
yeah, and again, it's 20% of your max health. So the earlier you pick up the Slumbering Husk, the lower health you have, the lower damage it takes to pop the Slumbering Husk. And it's really just not working out thus far. Kui can be rotating up, but Echo Fox are onto this turret. The Oblivion is not going to put anyone to sleep, and Echo Fox being very aggressive under this turret, looking for kills. Fountain's going to get popped. The turret stays alive. Unity able to prevent that objective from falling once again.
They have, and the turret doing a lot of work there, and Fadito actually had a huge stun underneath the turret there. But that does look like Samuel is going to drop to the turret, and Yazru might be looking to die here himself if Savage OG is able to find. Wow, actually the Husk is already popped there on a turret shot as well, so that's going to be an easy kill coming through for Irwin, as well as having the Frostburn might be able to find Fedito here.
Is going to be able to find Fedito, although that mess of minions made it a little bit difficult. However, the ace does come through for Echo Fox, and with these ace buff minions, turret is going to fall easily. 4,000 gold lead has been built up. Again, large CS advantages in both the lane and the jungle, but especially in the lane. Slata, 113 CS. He just needs to definitely be a little bit more wary of his positioning. I feel like this would be a significantly larger lead for Echo Fox if Slada hadn't been jumping in so aggressively and so deep before the rest of his team was ready to do so. Here comes Unity trying to steal away this gold miner. They're gonna get to work on it. Slada hanging back, looking for the damage. The gold mine gets stolen by Savage OG. Now can they find the fight, however? They are gonna be losing a lot of health. Slumbering Husk has already been popped with Vito on the front lines, trying to soak up damage. Unity might actually just be able to get out of this one, as they are in fact going to do so. So free gold mine going the way of Unity.
Yeah, I mean, definitely great that they were able to steal the gold mine and then make it out unscathed for the most part. A lot of damage traded back and forth to both sides, but they still have their lives. So it's a little bit of a gold lead, about 4,000 right now sitting in Fox. It's starting to grow. Irwin has completed the Broken Myth, but Slada has completed a second monocle in under 12 minutes.
Very, very much just going for the flat damage build. Yazru nearly gets taken down, will be able to recall it to safety, but Unity starting to put up a bit of a fight, trying to push in towards this turret, see if they can get any work done on it. It is still very, very healthy, but with this Malice and Verdicts and Drifting Dart coming out, we're going to find a bit of damage. Slada goes down somewhat low, but again, there's just not really a lot of damage that's going to be able to come out from Savage. With this Blackfeather build still only having the one offensive item, and it's an offensive item that only provides 85 weapon power. It is that Serpent's Mask that was completed, so it needs to be a little bit wary. We'll have a pretty good survivability now with the Atlas Pauldrons also completed, but Atlas Pauldron is an item I'm not crazy about into a Baron, just because of the fact that Baron doesn't really rely on attack speed all that much.
He really doesn't, because he gets the natural double attack out of the jump jets. He's not really caring too much, especially since as soon as Blackfeather dives in, it's just boom, jump jets away, get the double attack down. So, I like that Savage OG is respecting the damage of Baron. I just think he's respecting it a little too early, and then also maybe needing to prioritize a Metal Jacket over the Atlas Pauldron. It's only 200 extra gold, and again, into a Baron, it's just a better defensive item.
Well, they're going in underneath this turret a bit. They find a little bit of damage, but not really enough to be a cause for concern for Echo Fox. Yazru down to about half health, but Unity trying to find a way into this game. They're only, they're still keeping this gold pretty much where it was about 4 minutes ago, and that's a good sign. As long as you're not falling further behind, then you're doing pretty okay for yourselves. So once you can start closing that gold gap, though, that's when you've gotten things kind of swung back in your favor. For now, it's going to be Fedito, not going to get hit by that Impale. Yazru just a little bit wide with it. Here comes the Malice and Verdicts, but Kui doesn't decide to stay within that Drifting Dart. Now that's going to be an Impale double root landed. Kui taking so much damage. Ion Cannon will land just on the Vito. Slada is very low, is going to be going down as Savage finds that kill. Will get traded 1-for-1, however. Looks like Echo Fox are going to back him off after just that one kill. Kui still full health after getting some healing from the fountain. And maybe look to go back in. Vito tries to land a stun. He's eating a lot of damage. Kui is melting under this forward barrage and cannot stick around any longer.
Yeah, fortunately, the corrupt genius there was able to give him enough health to survive. Obviously, that's scaling with crystal power. Irwin has now 3 offensive items completed on this here Jungle Sky and is actually working into a 4th crystal item. So definitely interesting to see where he goes with this. Maybe looking to finish out maybe some Halcyon Chargers, give him a little extra cooldown as well as energy generation. Or he may even go into a second Eve just to really sustain.
There's a few different options here, but we'll see where they're going to go with it. Obviously, feeling like they have the advantage, Echo Fox. They are going to be going and taking out that Crystal Sentry. Yazru does get put to sleep, but Savage OG trying to come around the wall again just doesn't have really the damage. With the breaking point, will be able to build up damage as these fights go on, but hasn't been able to find much in these last couple of skirmishes. Low, he's been doing a really good job of getting onto Slata and taking Slata out. Typically when we see a Sky, it's the 3 offensive items, then some defense, but I don't mind Irwin going for a more offensive approach with the Sky, because all of the focus from the only members that can get onto the backlines are going onto Slata, and that's allowing Irwin to have a lot of freedom in these fights to move around and dish out damage. So going for a 4th offensive item, I think, works out really well for Irwin in this particular instance.
It really does, and again, it is pretty risky with the fact that when Unity does find a target, they do a massive amount of damage.
Nice block with the Crucible by Yazru, but he is going to fall for his trouble. Kui and Savage both getting out alive for now. Irwin, you can see again, so healthy. Even after all that, it's going to be Slata trying to jump in onto Vendito. Not going to find a kill. Kui moving with the Drifting Dark just in case Echo Fox tried to continue pushing in. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, but Echo Fox did get a turret off of that.
It indeed does, and we are sitting at 10-10, and the gold lead still hasn't extended that much. We're still sitting right between 4,000 and 5,000, so Unity not falling too far behind, but they definitely need to find something here to really, try to take an advantage here.
All right, well, they are going to be moving forward. Kraken obviously has been on the fold for a couple of minutes now. And there is a potential fight going to be breaking out as Fedito steps forward, gets hit by a shot from Slata. Slata did finally finish off that tension bow now that he's realized that there's a lot of armor being built on the side of Unity. So that 12% pierce is going to go a long way towards working on him. And now Yazru pretty far forward, but they found out. Oh my goodness, we just got absolutely blown up. No real defense item on that Samuel. There's nowhere for him to go. Fedito going to be the next target. Doesn't get stunned by the Githian wall, but it doesn't matter, as that's a 2nd kill now for Echo Fox. Just Savage left alive, and Kraken's going to get started.
Kraken is getting started here, and Savage OG looking for a very defensive Blackfeather build. He does have the Atlas that we talked about earlier, but it looks like he's also working into a Metal Jacket now, and it's actually helped him almost 1v1 Slata, but just like that, there the rest of Fox is coming in for the ace, and that should be a Kraken pretty uncontested coming out for Fox.
Yeah, absolutely should be. Kui's going to be back up, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there in time to try and steal his way or prevent it from happening. It would probably be a mistake to try. So Kraken unleashed in favor of Echo Fox 19 minutes in. They are going to be able to push in with this, look for another fight, and Kui again has to be very, very careful without having any defenses built. If Slata jumps on him, if Yazru catches him with an impale, that's pretty much going to be a death sentence. Savage OG has himself a Metal Jacket now, as well as the Atlas Pauldron. So really just focusing on trying to be that defensive frontliner. Still going to be that Slumbering Husk popped very, very early. Kraken gets through that tier 3 turret, and now Echo Fox going to look to move in here. Just trying to put some damage out, not really committing to a fight, but now here we go. That's going to be a double impale. Puts Slata to sleep, though, with the Oblivion, and Kui on the back lines, on the safety of this far back distance. Now we're going to be caught out a bit here. Body blocking by Fedito to keep him alive. Trying to just dissuade Echo Fox from going in, but the final turret is being attacked. Irwin very, very low. He's going to get out. Yazru will leave with him. And that is going to be Kraken falling, but not before getting a lot of work done, almost taking out the final turret as well.
Yeah, definitely with that turret being that low, Echo Fox can really just look to win a fight. Obviously, the Baron is going to need to be the one to live through that, since Irwin on the Sky really doesn't provide any objective damage. I mean, it does add up over time, but it's not bursty enough to really compete with the shielding that comes back on the turret. So definitely going to need to have Baron survive the next fight, and then they should very likely be able to push for the win.
Most likely will be the case. I mean, there's going to be Unity stepping up, looking to get onto Slada. Nice stun onto him. It's going to be the Oblivion getting blocked. Now, have they gone too far? Irwin getting some good damage out with the forward barrages, but not really able to find enough damage to get a kill. Or really even threaten a kill just yet. And so, Echo Fox will be recalling back to base. Unity, what are they going to be able to find off of this, though? They were looking for that team fight. They wanted to try and get a kill there. Were unable to do so. And just have to kind of back off and look to maybe try it again.
They indeed are, and definitely...
speaking of trying it again, this is Echo Fox blowing them up in an instant. There was no chance for Unity in this one. This team fight has gone completely south. Vegito trying to stay alive as long as possible, but it's just delaying the inevitable. An ace for Echo Fox, and with 30 seconds on the death timer still remaining, that will be the first game of the series.
It will indeed, and again, I don't really think we expected it to go any differently as far as the result. I expected it to go a little cleaner for Fox, but again, Slada being the typical captain we see here, maybe Fox using this opportunity to maybe try out a couple different things, see if maybe they want to switch it up going through the challengers, as they're obviously going to be looking for a Vainglory 8 spot as soon as they get the opportunity to.
Yeah, definitely an impressive showing here by Echo Fox, but closer than I think maybe we had expected. And this maybe is the rosters like you were alluding to, or it could just be just coming in here at this final match and not knowing what to expect. A lot of these teams, you really don't know what you're getting, and honestly, the skill tier continually decreases between the gap between them as these games go on. I was really impressed with Unity, guys. I don't know how you guys feel personally. I liked the items they bought. I thought there was a lot of smart decisions all around on how they tried. The only one that was probably glaring was the Catherine buying that Atlas Pauldron. And actually, you think about it, building a lot of heavy armor against the Baron when there is no attack speed especially would have really helped this team, right? Catherine really needed to be as defensive as possible. And unfortunately, I don't think the Atlas maybe was what did the trick. Of course, overall, though, Unity did the best they could. I just think at the end of the day, Echo Fox, clearly the better team.
Definitely. And again, the amount of defense that Unity prioritized on the Black Feather, particularly in the early game, definitely took away the edge that they should have had, should have been able to push early. Again, one basic attack or one impale was literally popping that husk, and then he just died. So definitely there's some chance left for this Unity roster. They did find a lot of team fights for themselves, and obviously if they do drop here to Echo Fox, they will be able to climb back up through the losers bracket, and we could potentially see them later in the tournament as well.
Yeah, I mean, they look strong, and we've got a lot of good teams here that are probably going to be dropping down to elimination round just because you're going up against these top 10 or so teams, and it's definitely a lot to sort through and a lot to deal with here. Just a quick update here looking at, believe it or not, this is a bit of a surprise. I am checking the bracket. It looks like we have a pretty big upset. Misfits has lost in the best of 3 series 2-1 to Tilt Rehab. That is
interesting.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at that roster right now. And
Jazzville, Ali Peterson, Crowley, and Shrub 1123-4.
I have no idea who that is. This is not the first time Misfits has had like an upset, but this is really early in day one. Yeah, have to say I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah, definitely not what I expected. I definitely thought we were going to see Misfits go all the way to the end without a defeat. But again, they still have a chance to climb back through the challengers bracket, the losers bracket. I mean, we could see them again. We very well could see them still make it to the end. We didn't get to see that game. We don't know what happened. But being a 2-1, I mean, definitely that team must have put up a pretty good fight against Misfits, and obviously were able to take the victory there in the end too, which I gotta say that's gonna put Tilt Rehab on my my spot list a lot.
Yeah, this is really a big deal, guys. I mean, I'll be honest, Misfits looked so good last split. They had very few games they struggled with. They actually coasted through quite easily, and to come and lose this early, it's a little bit concerning, especially if you're Misfits. I mean, this is a team that we really don't know a lot about. There could be a lot of other factors for it as well. We don't know about internet connection, but it's something just to keep in mind as we get into this tournament here. Now, we do have the draft started, guys, so I'm going to kick it back over to you and Tasty to take us away.
I definitely think if you're Unity Bacon, you have to really consider not letting that Baron through again. I think, personally at least, Grace is a little easier to deal with than a Baron, so it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with here. They end up banning away the Grump Jump, maybe in the hopes that they can pick up the Baron for themselves. But going into Echo Fox, I think Echo Fox has the hero pool that they can play the Idris, and that'll definitely be helpful. But they choose to ban it out, which does give them the opportunity to pick up one of the healers. It looks like Unity leaning towards the Grace, and Fox will very likely pick up the Lyra in that second spot.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to go for the Lyra, and after the Grace has been picked up, they go for the Vox. There's the Lyra selection. So very strong starting duo there for the side of Echo Fox. You know, Vox is still considered to be one of the strongest laners in the game, and especially against a Grace can do quite well. Kestrel, the selection for the side of Unity. See if it's going to be a weapon or a crystal Kestrel. If it is going to be looks like they're looking for a crystal jungler, so likely to be a weapon Kestrel in the lane.
Very likely going to be a weapon Kestrel in the lane. It looks like they are going to go with the Samuel, and again, we talked about this earlier. This is an incredibly strong composition right now to get the Kestrel and the Samuel with one of the healers. So Unity definitely has a potential here, especially with the Lyra. Lyra's low defense can really put her in danger of taking those boomer shots and the Malice and Verdicts, especially the Malice and Verdicts that are empowered by the Drifting Dark. So we can definitely see some pretty exciting things come out of this game if Unity can hold the composition together and play it correctly.
Some more hero swapping, please. That's what I need in my life right now.
What I need in my So it does look like Slada is going to be returning to the lane on the Vox here with Yazru in the captain position. So going to be interesting to see if that's how this plays out for the rest of the season. Again, maybe Echo Fox just wanting to try something a little different as they have just dropped out of the VG8, maybe trying to see if switching up the positions a little bit will help their performance. And Grace does have the boots, so maybe looking to get a early invade here.
All right, so they are going to be definitely going a little bit aggressive. Obviously, Grace loves to go for these early invades, is very strong at the level 1 skirmishes. Is going to be trying to force Yazuru away. Not going to be able to find an opportunity to go for that middle treant because obviously the typical start now is for your jungler to start on your back cancel. So Echo Fox had actually Urban and Slada pair up for the full back clear. It's going to give Slada a little bit of an edge in terms of experience when he gets to the lane, but not going to be missing out on really much CS either. And a nice job by Echo Fox getting themselves situated with a slight lead. I mean, very, very slight, but still a lead nonetheless.
I mean, 300 gold at 1 minute is definitely something that you have to consider, and Savage OG actually...
Oh, Cadito almost going down.
Yeah, and as the wave gets farmed up, it does even out a little bit. Slada is going to hold the lane to make sure that the enemy misses out on as much as possible. Savage OG recalling, very likely to pick up a couple more crystal bits. A crystal bit and boots he ends up picking up. So everybody in the game right now actually having boots except for Slada, but Slada hasn't had the chance to shop yet.
And not going to be really much of an impact, not having those boots, I don't think. But early shopping trips for everyone is something that we don't normally see. Not within the first 2 minutes. Oftentimes, we'll see some players end up staying out for a few minutes, picking up items, around that 3 to 4 minute mark instead. But both teams wanting to make sure that they're as strong as possible for some early skirmishes. Is Fedito wanting to make something happen here with Irwin. Savage God rotating over as well, but once Lyra rotates down, Yazoo just tops Irwin up, and that's everyone just backing off to their own sides.
It is indeed, and that's, typically on a Samuel, after you get that level 2, we do see them rotate into the lane and try to get some poke down. Savage OG definitely looking for a little more damage before that happens, and here he is. Drifting Dark is ready. A Glimmer Shot finds Yazuru and brings him down a little over half health, but obviously Lyra will have the sustain available to her. And that'll very likely be Savage rotating back down through the jungle. Actually, it looks like he's going to take the chance to recall and pick up a heavy prism first. Irwin on this jungle Celeste is really going to be the one to watch for me because the composition is a little bit mobile, I guess you could say, on the side of Unity. But if Irwin can find some good heliogenesis, then he he should be able to put down huge bursts of damage, as the Kestrel and the Samuel will very likely build either no defense or very limited defense. And right, Unity looking to get a kill here.
And they are looking for that first blood, but can they find it? Irwin is so low. One more charge forward should be all they need, but Savage is going to connect with the Malice and Verdict, finds the first blood. Now it's Slater rotating down. Who's going to go down next? That's a Malice or a Drifting Dark coming out, and with the rotation from Queen, it's a second kill from Unity. Unity are going to find all three. That is just barely not going to be an ace because Irwin has respawned, but 3 kills and stealing away the entirety of the jungle. Unity off to a great start.
They are off to a great start, and as we mentioned earlier, this composition in general is incredibly strong. The Samuel and Kestrel provide so much burst, as well as having sustain as well. It's not just one hit that's really big from either of these heroes. It's going to be every hit is really big from both the Kestrel and the Samuel.
Alright, so they are definitely going to be looking for some opportunities to go in deep now. Echo Fox is going to want some revenge, however, so with the Fedito on this Grace, once level 6 comes out, those aggressive types of plays just work out even more so with the healing. So Slata is going to be targeted, takes a lot of damage, not going to be enough for a kill, but it will put a lot of pressure onto him, and without having a lot of energy either. No, he is actually going to stick around after getting the heal from Yazir. I thought he was just going to recall regardless, but wants to stick around, make sure he gets a little bit more CS. Kui went back to base, taking advantage of the opportunity to go shop, finish off the Sorrow Blade. He's going to come back to lane. That nice little power spike available with the items.
It is indeed, and both Samuel and Celeste are level 6 now, so definitely a big spike for them to get their ultimate. But moving into level 8 for the Celeste is really where she's going to start to take off. That's where she's going to have the range that can compete with the Kestrel and the Samuel. So going to be really the player to watch for Fox here. The Vox can obviously put down a lot of damage, but he's going to be at a lot of risk with the amount of poke that Unity is able to put down.
Alright, so with all of that damage, I mean, they're able to get some pretty good bursts coming out from the side of Unity. Now they're going to be looking for more. Slata again, taking a bit of punishment. Not going to be enough for a kill, but now has to be careful as Glimmer Shots do a lot of damage. Kui going to throw out the one-shot, one-kill. Not going to be on target. And now Irwin rotating up. That's one of the beautiful things about a Celeste is you can check rushes with the heliogenesis, especially once you hit level 8 and you have that extra range. It becomes very easy to make sure you're not walking into an ambush as you rotate through the map. But Unity trying to siege up this turret. Haven't been able to get really any damage onto it, but they're trying to just keep Slada at bay. However, Echo Fox charging in. Solar Storm is going to go wide. Not getting kills, but now Slada low, Fedito low, not quite going to fall. Oh, that's going to be 1 kill apiece, though, as Savage OG is able to find Yazuru. Gets taken out himself as well, so 1 kill for each team. And again, Unity putting up a very good fight here against Echo Fox.
They are indeed, and again, you can see the damage that comes out of these Glimmer shots, even only having the Sorrow Blade. So moving into the Tension Bow, actually looking to go with the Monocle first, so looking to maybe have a repeat of the Slada Baron build that I had going on earlier. Savage OG has completed the Frostburn now, as well as hitting level 8. He has the Malice and Vertex overdriven, but at the same time, Irwin has the Heliogenesises are now overdriven, which again, that increased range is the real big spike for Celeste. Her early game is okay, but she really takes off at level 8.
With that level 8 power spike up, has now been reached for Irwin. Solar Storm going to go out, blocked by Fugito and dodged by Savage, but now lots of damage onto Unity. Oh, and Heliogenesis drops onto Savage's head and finds a kill. Slada trying to pepper in some damage through the Sonic Zooms. It's going to be Fugito going in once again, maybe a little bit too far forward. Maybe it's going to be Kui too far forward, and that is another kill found by Irwin. And again, with that level 8 power spike, it is just so strong for a Celeste. Slada is going to be proxy farming a little bit, just clearing out those minions before they even catch up to this first turret. Allows the turret to go down. Oblivion comes out, gets blocked. Vito still very low. Savage OG trying to find a kill, but the fountain was still available. Yazuru is going to pop that, and now all of a sudden Savage is way too far forward, gets taken out, and just like that, Echo Fox have regained control of this game, of this series, and gotten themselves about a 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, and again, it was really Irwin hitting that level 8 spike. We've seen those Heliogenesis come out, hitting way past the turret and finding the kill onto the Kestrel. So definitely, again, the Kestrel and Samuel are going to have very aggressive offensive builds. They're not going to prioritize too much defense. And if they do, it will both be an Aegis and then very likely 4 offensive items. So Unity, if they can avoid the Heliogenesis or find the right engage where you can get a Glimmer shot or 2 down onto Kestrel or onto the Celeste, see, look at the damage that's there, and that is going to be Irwin getting saved by the Eve and the Fountain, and now this fight is starting to turn Unity's way.
Oh, it's actually starting to go back to Echo Fox. That's going to be Savage OG trying to run away as his teammates have all fallen around him. Not going to be able to do so. An ace for Echo Fox as they picked up now the gold miner and going to likely start pushing in that wave. Once again, Irwin making his way up to take care of that. So again, a large gold swing once more in favor of Echo Fox. They're not going to really shove with these minions onto the turret, but these ace buff minions can get a fair bit of work done before they get cleaned out. But it has jumped up to a 3,000 gold lead in favor of Echo Fox.
It has, and Unity really should have taken that opportunity. That should have been a clear win for them there, as the Vox overextended incredibly far, but the Savage OG tried to find some Malice and Vertex over the wall and just let Vox solo out the Kestrel, who didn't have any Glimmer shots available. So a little bit of a misplay on the side of Unity there, and Fox, great team, was able to capitalize on it, and it was incredibly smart of them to recognize that, and they pushed through for the ace and take the advantage.
Finding now some opportunities to find more fights are Echo Fox, and that's exactly what they want. Now that they've got themselves this lead, they know that they can win team fights. They want to try and force the issue, get damage down for Guido. Get caught out a little bit here, slowed up. Savage OG going to try and keep Echo Fox at bay, but Slada's just diving right on in. Maybe a Crucible burn to protect Slada from the Oblivion. Echo Echo Fox going to try and get over this wall and onto Unity. However, they don't have a whole lot of lockdown on this team unless they can catch someone with the Bright Bulwark, portal in, Bulwark, and drop a core collapse underneath them. That's really the only way that they're going to be able to successfully stun up a target and keep them in place. But they have so much ranged damage, especially with Irwin, that they are able to still apply pressure even without getting that massive lockdown.
They are indeed, and Slata getting very farmed up on this Vox, sitting at 133 CS in 12 minutes, so a little over the 10 CS a minute mark, but Kestrel's right there with him, so Savage OG going to be looking to find a bit of damage when he gets up here, but Unity is not going to be able to save the turret.
Portal in for Yazuru, and they take the turret down. Echo Fox now looking to continue this fight, diving under the next turret. Solar Storm just rips through Savage and finds them a kill. Now Fedito going to be trying to keep Irwin at bay. Core Collapse not going to connect, but that is Echo Fox with a turret and a kill. Minion Wave has just gotten to this choke point turret, and they immediately turn their attention onto it. Will be taking that one down as well. And unfortunately for Fedito, the Bright Bulwark prevents him from being able to get onto any members. And that's going to just be another objective going the way of Echo Fox.
It is indeed, and Echo Fox really starting to take these fights over and over again. Unity definitely should have waited for Samuel to reappear in the lane. They tried to defend the turret. It was a lost cause. They didn't have the damage. And, sometimes you just, again, you got to give up objectives sometimes to really group up together as a team. I'm also a little worried about the overdriven Drifting Dark on Samuel. It is moving a little too fast for him to really be able to use the positioning to his advantage. And this is going to be Echo Fox cleaning out the gold mine to extend their lead unless if Unity can come over and steal it.
That's going to be a difficult opportunity, but they aren't going to take. And now with that gold miner going, they're looking for this fight. Fedito gets the heal out onto Savage. As they're going fairly low, just going to drop the fountain, keep himself alive. They find the kill onto Fedito, and now members of Unity are on the wrong side of the fold. There's a turret there behind you. They have to just keep trying to run down into the jungle. Savage is going to get chased out. Solar Storm just wipes him off the fold, and now it is just Kui left to try and run. Should be able to get out of here. It looks like Echo Fox has given up the chase, but Echo Fox are starting to really dominate this game as they are just going to be putting pressure on. Kui gets found. Won't be an ace if he ends up falling here, but looks like they are going to be looking for that kill. Fedito trying to prevent it. Does get a stun on the Slata, who's now low on energy. Perhaps too low to continue fighting, and they will be backing off eventually.
Yeah, but this gold lead, sitting up at 6,000, definitely in Fox's favor. It's gonna be really difficult for the side of Unity to find a fight now. Kestrel is sitting on only 2 completed items, whereas Slata is, not too far off of sitting at full build. He is level 12 infused as well as Samuel has not quite completed that broken myth yet, and is also uninfused, and Irwin coming in to find some damage.
And they are looking for Fedito, going to be the target for now, likely just because he's the one that's closest. They get the kill onto the Grace. There goes all of the healing that is available to the side of Unity. We going to try and run away, goes into stealth, looking for that active cable trap, gets blocked. Slata with a great outplay on that Kestrel. Sentry defeated for the first time, but Echo Fox up 12-4. Kraken is available, and that is where they are going to go. Starting this objective up with only 1 member alive. Very unlikely that there's going to be any contest on this objective.
Definitely not going to be, and if Savage OG does come down, it is going to be nothing but death for him. And here Slata comes, and look at the damage that Vox is able to put out, only taking about 10% of his health, and obviously Yazuru able to heal it up with 1 Imperial Sigil. So not anything that Slata is going to be too worried about. Very likely coming down to refresh and infusion so that they can push to win. Actually a little shy on gold, so he's just clearing out minions. Not quite enough to refresh the infusion.
Yeah, well, they still are just going to be pushing on. Kraken making her way into the base. 2 turrets remaining for Unity. Looks like Echo Fox are going to be trying to end this one. Some good damage going out. Crystal Sentry has respawned and is going to get involved in the fight. This is the opportunity for Unity. This is where they have to fight. They're not going to be going for it. They want to just focus this Kraken down. Leda goes down fairly low thanks to that one shot. He's going to be in some trouble, but the Solar Storm just takes out Savage. And this is likely to be game. Kraken still working on these turrets. Vegito will fall to Saleda. We gonna try and get onto the Sanctuary. Doesn't want to walk into the portal, and that's going to be their death. An ace for Echo Fox and a 2-0 victory in this series.
Definitely well played by Echo Fox there. Again, this is the #1 seed, having just dropped down from challenge battles, and they do not want to be here any longer than they need to be. So they definitely will be looking for, any opportunity they can get to make it to. And Dragonborn, what are they calling it again?
The challenge regional finals, I believe.
I've got the answer here. It was given to me earlier. I just have to find where it went. I have to scroll up and find it. Challenger Cup.
Okay, good. I was really concerned for the second tasty that you were going to actually say what Humanist told you it was, which that is absolutely not correct. It's not the Bacon Cup. Although that is a great name. That is a great name. No, hey, this has been absolutely a great series for Echo Fox. They need to play well. They don't have Super Shot, and a lot of discussion about which roster is going to be the preferred roster going through the rest of this Challengers. But they still look solid. And the first day, there's a few matches that can be a little bit tricky. And obviously, as you guys had found out, as we let you guys know earlier, Misfits had lost their matchup. So anything can happen, guys. And so it's just really important to take care of your day, each one game at a time, one series at a time. Excuse me. So with that, it does mean we are at the end of our broadcast, guys. That was a pretty exciting series of matches. We do want to, of course, run down all of the games that have taken place and give you guys some updates so you guys can kind of keep an eye on where the brackets are heading and what teams are moving on up. So we actually do want to get right into that in just a few seconds here. And let's talk a little bit actually about the Misfits game. So we don't have the stats just yet. I'm not sure if any of you guys can go pull up the VG Pro to see what happened there. But Misfits versus Tilt Rehab, the very, very big upset. And we're taking a look here. Of course, we do see Intensity VG did beat Infinity Rebirth. That's a team that has had a lot of success, and they're going to be going and facing #1 seed Echo Fox. But short of that, no other additional major upsets that I think we can report on today. But the Misfits game, that is absolutely huge.
It's not actually registering there, or Dragon.
Oh, it's not?
Nope.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, definitely would be curious. I kind of was hoping to see if we could get into that and see how that all played out. Because that would have been a game I kind of wish we could have gotten into that one. You really don't know which are going to be those major upset games or not. So this is our winners bracket as it stands today, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick update on that as we do get confirmation. Of course, Echo Fox, we just witnessed, they won their matchup here, and they will be moving on to play Intensity VG, who beat out Refinity Rebirth, and that's kind of, it's actually a matchup that we've seen before. These two teams clashing, and they've had some decent amount of success, although it's worth knowing Intensity VG, a little bit of a roster change. We actually saw Shaded Talent leave this roster. He had a great performance last play and actually move on to the Rogue roster in Vainglory 8. So, absolutely, not Rogue, sorry, Shaded Talent. Vision, that's right. Oh, he moved on to the Vision roster, although he wasn't able to play today. Yeah, actually, that was Stormy Cross that moved on to the Rogue roster. As we get, actually, rosters are being finalized right now for the Vainglory 8. So there should be probably a lot of exciting announcements for that soon. Well, with that, guys, I do want to, of course, thank our casters and our moderator for tonight. Thanks everybody for coming out. We will be starting Group B tomorrow, so you guys want to miss it. We, of course, are going to have a lot of exciting teams there. Tribe, as amongst others, will be going head-to-head with some of the best Vainglory teams here in the Challenger Series for split number 2. Thanks everyone for coming out and watching. We'll see you guys later. Good night.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.